And welcome back to the Upside Sports Network. My name is Michael. Appreciate you guys joining us on a very busy day of baseball anyway. We're going to watch the Texas Rangers take on the LA Angels, two of the best teams in the American League West, a much improved American League West as well. So let's get to the game. Now, the Texas Rangers are going to be going up against Tyler Anderson, the big free agent acquisition for the LA Angels this offseason. He's kind of was expected to come in and be a number 2, 3 type starter behind Shohei Ohtani. Remains to be seen if he'll ultimately live up to that, but it's going to lead off the game here with Marcus Semien, and he takes low and away ball 1. Second pitch here to Semien. Semien, who usually is very aggressive early in the count, something he picked up from Seager last year to try to get off to a hotter start this year, and it's certainly working to his advantage. Rangers have one of the best lineups in all of baseball right now. Another one misses the zone. This one is hard hit, but foul, and it's now 2-1. But as I was saying, Semien got off to a horrible start last year and really rebounded nicely the rest of the way. However, he wanted to get off to a hotter start. That's why we're seeing a little bit different approach right now with Marcus Semien. That one nibbles the bottom of the zone. Semien didn't like that one, but either way, the count is now 2-2. Anderson, of course, coming over from the LA Dodgers this offseason, is working to a 5+ earned run average through 5 starts so far this year. Kind of pauses in that delivery, and Semien rolls over this one. The throw easily beats Semien, and there is one away here in the top of the first. Now for the Rangers, they're going to roll out a lineup of Semien, Grossman, Lowe. Pretty much the same lineup they've been rolling for the past couple of weeks now. Garcia is going to be in right, Young is third baseman, and Jonah Heim doing the catching behind the plate. Ezekiel Duran is having one of the hottest starts of his in all of baseball right now. He's hitting .324. His OPS is around 1,000 right now. And Leody Taveras is in center. He's raised his average significantly over the past week, up to .246 now. And Bubba Thompson is in left. Hard hit here by Grossman on the 1-0 is able to get down in front of the left fielder. And the Rangers have their first base runner of the game. Grossman's also had a nice rebound to his start to the season anyway. He's up to a .253 average with the lefty on the mound, no Jankowski in the lineup. Welcome in, Hank. Appreciate you for joining us once again. Welcome in, Monica. First time I've seen you on here, so appreciate you joining us. Thank you guys for hitting that subscribe and like button. It really does help us out. Here's Nathaniel Lowe, takes inside and called a strike. Mystifying there. Lowe has a .256 average so far this season, 4 homers, 20 RBIs. 783 OPS. He's had a little bit of changes to his swing so far this year, different approach to at the plate as well, and so far he's had mixed results with it. But we'll see if as this season goes along he kind of picks up steam like he did last year. That one finds the inside corner. It's quickly 0-2. Yeah, I think was it you that was telling me you had some nice Leody Taveras cards, Hank, the last time we chatted? I think you were telling me that. Pick-off attempt there, not in time. Nathaniel Lowe tied for fourth with 10 doubles in the American League. This one's lifted into left center. Plenty of time, though, for Trout to catch it. And there's quickly 2 away. Grossman scampers back to first. It'll be up to Adolis Garcia to keep this inning going. I was mentioning Anderson's the starting pitcher for the Angels today. Even with the first 2 outs, his ERA is still over a 5.5 right now. And you think about the Texas Rangers and the LA Angels, both of them are betting on guys who had injury issues, or, well, had their success anyway with 1 year with the LA Dodgers. Yes, the Rangers made a 1-year investment with Andrew Heaney with an option year as well, so they kind of hedged their bets a little bit, if you will. They certainly are happy with the results they've seen so far. The strikeout numbers seem very real for Andrew Heaney. He's never going to be a guy that's going to go 9 innings, so he's going to be a strikeout first pitcher. Rangers will be happy if they get 6 innings out of him when he does go out onto the bump. But 5-6 innings is what you can expect of him. For the Angels, a little bit different. They were hoping for a little bit lower earned run average, a little bit more mound presence out there, and so far they haven't really gotten what they paid for as of yet. But I think he signed a 3-year, $40 million deal after he got that qualifying, a 3-year, $39 million deal after getting that qualifying offer from the Dodgers, and he signed that right as that deadline was about to pass. So, yeah, I remember, Hank. I don't forget. I got you. You're good. I think we talked a little bit about his brother as well. How it was a good investment, all those kinds of things. The 2-2 misses well north of the zone. It's now 3-2. We'll get into the standings here in just a moment as to why this game is kind of a big one here early in the season for both the Angels and the Rangers. Both teams have 18 wins, 12 losses for the Rangers, 14 for the Angels. That one misses up and away, and that will be a walk. Rangers have something cooking now. 2 on, 2 out. Josh Young coming up to the plate. He was the American League Rookie of the Month, and then, of course, on the day he was crowned the American League Rookie of the Month, he hit 2 home runs in the game. So he certainly lived up to the expectation there. Starting him off with off-speed, strike 1. Again, he's getting a wide zone on that left side. We'll see if that's the same going for the Rangers today as well. The one thing, if you're going to have a wide strike zone, you want to make sure it's fair for both sides. So far, we're seeing both to left and right-handed batters that left side of the plate, if you're the pitcher, that left side seems to be a little bit open. Little tapper here to the mound. This should be the end of the inning, and it is. Anderson makes the nice throw over to first, and Young is retired. Good inning for both the Rangers and Angels. Angels get out of it without giving up a run, which is important for Anderson to kind of get some momentum going for him as he had struggled early here in the season. For the Rangers, they get a couple of base runners on, but you really want to knock them in, especially when you're on the road. Now for the Rangers, of course they have Jacob deGrom on the injured list right now. That's why we're going to see Dane Dunning be the starter today. He has a 1.77 earned run average so far this year, but this will be his first time to be a starter this season. We'll see how far he goes, how far the pitch count goes in today's game. I'd imagine it probably gets to that 75 pitch range. Anything more than that, and I think the Rangers would be doing them a disservice. So we'll see how long they get him to go. Josh Young has a brother in Detroit minors. They look all exactly alike. They got to be twins. Well, it's Jace as his younger brother. Is it Detroit that he got picked up by? In either event, I was really hoping the Rangers might be able to get him in the draft as well. He looked just about as good as his brother when he was coming out, just a little bit kind of like a Josh Young light, if you will. But I really liked him coming out. But I'm not sure if he's in Detroit. I'll take your word for it. But I'm getting him confused with the Arizona prospect, the one from Dallas. Jordan Lawler is the one I'm confusing him with. So yeah, he's in Detroit. All right, looks like we're just getting back from commercial break for the Angels today. They're going to have Neto at shortstop leading things off, followed by Trout and Ohtani. Ohtani, of course, your designated hitter. They have the Ohtani rule nowadays to where you can still be a designated hitter after you come out of the game as a pitcher. Rendon is going to be your third baseman. Renfroe is your right fielder. Ward in left. Drury is at first. And Tice is doing the catching. And Rengifo is at second base. Now for Dane Dunning, he offers up a 6-pitch mix right now. A 2-seamer, a 4-seam fastball, a cutter, slider, changeup as well. And another off-speed offering. So we'll see how he mixes it up today. Of course, when he was in the bullpen earlier this year, his stuff played up because he was coming out of the bullpen, was able to throw with a little bit more authority, a little bit more effort, because he didn't have to necessarily throw 100 pitches in a game. Now, he's not going to be asked to do that today because, again, he's not fully stretched out, but looks like it is a wide strike zone here as well for Dane Dunning as he gets that one in there, and it's 1-1 here to Zach Neto, hitting .262 through 19 games. That one a little too far outside, and it's 2-1. But for Dunning, we'll see how far they ultimately get into this game. I'd imagine the Rangers would be happy with 5 innings. That one misses beneath the zone, and it's 3-1. Got to imagine they're going to have at least a couple of long relievers out there for him today. Got to think Cole Ragans is probably going to be available to throw an inning or two. Got to think they're going to try to have Yuri Rodriguez available just in case this game gets out of hand. That one finds the zone, and Neto tossed the bat. That was an interesting one. Looks like the A's might win a game here today. 9-3 as the Royals gain a run here. That one misses the strike zone and goes all the way to the backstop. This time he does get ball 4. And so the Angels have something cooking here in the bottom half of the first inning. Now, as I mentioned, this would be Jacob deGrom's start. That's something the Rangers would really like to have had in this game. And sure, you want to make sure he's going to be there for 162. So missing a start in April, May is not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, I suppose. But every game still counts. So these walks are killing us, though, if you're a Rangers fan. Trout taps it to short. Nice play by Duran to get out there at second. Trout easily safe at first, though. Avoids the double play. And Shohei Ohtani coming up next. Duran's really improved his defense over the last couple of weeks at shortstop. He's pretty much taken over the job anyway from Josh Smith, who was getting the job originally because of that defense. Well, Josh Smith's bat wasn't exactly coming around. His on-base percentage was certainly very nice. But if you're a Rangers fan, just the power that Ezekiel Duran is bringing to this lineup right now, you have to have him out there every day. And his defense has certainly improved. He was a second baseman, third baseman by trade. He's been asked to play pretty much all over the diamond. He's taken reps at first base. Hasn't played in a game there yet. But it'll be an interesting decision to see what happens once Corey Seager does come back. Hard hit ball right at Nathaniel Lowe. Off the glove, but nice backing up there by Marcus Semien. They get the lead runner, Trout, at second. Looks like it was off the glove of Nathaniel Lowe, but either way, that was a rocket off the bat of Shohei. That'll go as a fielder's choice. That'll go 3, 4, 6, put out at second base, just how you draw it up. But in either event, Rangers will take it. And another pitch misses on the just off the outside corner. 1-0. Looks like they're trying to test to see just how wide that outside corner is going to be right now. But these walks are certainly killing a lot of teams around Major League Baseball. We've watched a bunch of games over the last week where we've seen nothing but walks. We did the Yankees and Cleveland game on Wednesday. I think we saw a whole bunch of walks for both sides in that game, or for the Yankees pitchers in that game, excuse me. We did the, I want to say we did the Houston game as well. A whole bunch of walks there. 2-1 now on Rendon. Toss over to first. Ohtani easily back in there safe. Stolen bases are certainly up this year, but I wouldn't necessarily count on Shohei Ohtani leading the charge as far as trying to get stolen bases. I mean, he does have speed, don't get me wrong, but they're more worried about keeping him healthy for 162. This one's going to be a batter timeout, I guess. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. They are peppering that outside corner. Chase. Good strategy, but you get some walks mixed in there if you miss too far. Fouled back to the screen, and it remains 2-2. Anthony Rendon, of course, had that altercation earlier this year with a fan. Took a swing at one, missed, but he missed a little bit of time because of that. I think he got like a 1-game suspension or something like that. I thought it would have been a lot more significant. I think it was on opening day when that happened in Oakland, where he took a swipe at a fan for something he perceived the fan had said. But he's no longer the threat that he used to be in that Washington Nationals lineup. He's been injured the last couple of years. That certainly impacted his ability to produce for that LA Angels lineup. But in either event, you don't necessarily need to be taking swings at fans. This one's hit high in the air. Settling under it is Thompson, and that's the third out of the inning. Well, both pitchers kind of worked around some hard contact. Well, I should say around some traffic anyway. Hard contact off the for Dunning anyway, off the bat of Ohtani. But here we go to the second inning. 0-0 our score. If you're just joining us for the first time, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We try to put out some content for you guys throughout the week, and we will be live with you guys again tomorrow night. We'll have the Baltimore-Atlanta game early. I think that game starts at 6:45. I doubt that game gets over in time for the Houston-Seattle game in the nightcap at 8:40. But if it gets done early, we'll bring that one to you as well. Who was what? Oh, Anthony Rendon, the Angels third baseman. On opening day, he was signing autographs in the autograph line, and somebody was heckling him. A dad was there with his kid, some 7, 8-year-old child, and Anthony Rendon thought that the guy that was with the 7 or 8-year-old child was heckling him, calling him names, saying stuff about his mom, stuff like that. And he took one look up at him and basically tried to put him in a headlock and tried to throw a punch at him. And he continued to play in the game. I mentioned while we were doing that game live that Rendon seemed really animated after he got struck out in the first inning. And we found out later on what had actually happened, that he had gotten into it with a fan before the game, and then he tried to take a swing at the dad. He missed. The two were separated, but he didn't make contact with him as far as with the fist, but they did get him, or he did try to put him in a headlock and all that kind of a thing. But Rendon only got a 1-game suspension, I believe, for that altercation. I'm not entirely sure of the punishment, but it was minuscule. A fine, a 1-game suspension, nothing big. It's been too long since that happened, about a month ago now. But that was the first game of the season, so looks like more of the same offensively for Rendon this year. But the key for him is just to stay healthy at this point and to stop taking things up with fans. We don't need more malice at the palace, if those of you who are with us remember that. Jonah Heim batting from the right side. An excuse me check swing, flares this one out into short left, and it falls. Gets down, just an excuse me swing, and just able to find an open spot. That'll get it done. Our Heim has had a whole bunch of balls, hard hit balls, taken away from him. It's nice when one of those falls in. Logan O'Hoppe, the catcher for the Angels, of course, is now out for the year, or out for, I'm not sure if he's out for the year or out for an extended period, but I think he's out for a while at least. Angels trying to piecemeal it back there for now. Duran stepping into the box, takes well inside. I say well inside, he missed by 2 or 3 inches, but in today's game, that pitch isn't being called a strike. It's going to be in the other side of the plate where that might be called a strike. So So far this year in 23 games, hitting 324, 3 homers, 14 RBIs, and an 858 OPS. But as I mentioned, he's really taken off over the last few weeks. With Seager going down, he's certainly earned a spot in the everyday lineup for the Rangers. The question will be, will those at-bats come at designated hitter? Will they come in left field? Where will those at-bats come from? Swing and a miss, fastball. I'm guessing a fastball right down the middle, and it's 1-2. One thing a lot of batters have been doing this year is once they get 2 strikes, they go ahead and take a timeout. Not a bad strategy. Clear your head, choke up, more of a contact approach, etc. Duran's not exactly more of a contact approach type guy, but we'll see. That one's a hard hit ball right to the third baseman and caught by Rendon. I mean, that ball was hammered. Everything this guy is hitting lately is off, or right on the screws, and that ball is off the end of the bat. Duran goes to the dugout. Another hard hit ball, though. 13 years ago or so, I saw our bullpen go into the stands at Oakland, injure a fan or two. Yeah. I'm never a fan of players taking it up with fans or vice versa. I mean, fans are there to appreciate the game, have fun, heckle the opponent, all those kinds of things, but there's a line, you don't want to cross it, and that's when security should be involved. And for the players, there's no reason to listen to it anyway. I mean, if they're saying good things about you, you smile. If they're saying bad things about you, you're not supposed to listen anyway, so why are you hearing the bad things? So we're all human, I guess, but there's no reason for that kind of thing, especially when you consider the Anthony Rendon incident was literally right in front of his 7-8-year-old child. I mean, come on. Tavares is up 0-2, swing and a miss. That wide strike zone is certainly working for Anderson here. 1 on, 2 outs now here in the top of the second. I think the most egregious one we can all say that as far as a fan and player incident was the Malice at the Palace, where a whole bunch of players went into the stands and fought a whole bunch of fans. That was not a good look for the NBA, and that's why we saw a whole bunch of full season suspensions as a result. Well, yeah, that's when, as Oakland is pretty bad as far as the stadium, first and foremost, so I can understand the discontentment from the fan base there. I mean, they have raw sewage on the regular out there in the stands, in the walkways, that they literally just put up a rope and say, do not walk here. But, I mean, that stuff has to smell and go throughout the stadium. But that's still no excuse to throw beer cans and whatnot. Jonah Heim gets a nice stolen base here. Not exactly the most fleet-of-foot guy, but he gets it easily. His first stolen base of the year. That one misses low, and it's now 2-1. But when that kind of thing happens, when people are throwing things from the stands, that's when security should immediately get involved. The 2-1 pitch. A real hitch in his delivery on that one. I can see why he struggles with his command at times. He's got that big old hitch in that delivery. Thompson, though, hitting .205 on the year. Not a real offensive threat, but you'd like to see him at least some point get this offense going for him if you're a Ranger fan. But Anderson, again, puts up another 0 strikeout there of Thompson. He's one guy I'd be worried about a roster spot here with Corey Seager coming back. If Duran goes into the outfield as an everyday role, Jankowski's earned his spot on this roster at this point. There's 2 players I'd be really worried about my roster spot once Corey Seager comes back, and that's Bubba Thompson. He could be sent down, options, etc. And then you're also looking at a guy like Brad Miller. Both of those guys have really not produced for the Rangers, and the Rangers really need to get some production out of that spot in the lineup. They're literally one of the worst offensive teams when it comes to the left field position over the last year and a half. The Angels were as well. They addressed that a little bit by bringing in Hunter Renfroe to make their outfield as a whole a little bit better in Anaheim, or in the LA Angels of Anaheim anyway. But for the Rangers, putting Ezekiel Duran there, or at least at the designated hitter spot until Mitch Garver gets back, would be a mighty boost to that lineup, especially with Corey Seager coming back. Now, with Robbie Grossman playing well, and with Travis Jankowski playing well, they have some options out there to play with. Now, The one thing the Rangers did not do this offseason was bring in that middle of the order bat that they promised the fan base. They went ahead and took that money and gave it to Nathan Eovaldi. And I'm not exactly saying that was the wrong decision. I'm just saying this lineup still needs one more bat. And whether that comes from within, whether that be Ezekiel Duran, and then around the All-Star break you bring up Evan Carter or Zavala or one of these other minor leaguers, Justin Foscue, whoever it might be, they still need one more bat in that lineup. And Josh Smith, as good as he is as far as a contact hitter, isn't exactly finding gaps out there right now. He's a good on-base guy. He's getting a whole bunch of walks. He's been hit by like 6 or 7 pitches so far this year. But he's struggling to make contact as far as effective contact at the plate, and that's why Ezekiel Duran is getting start after start after start after start, even with their starting shortstop, Corey Seager, out of the lineup. Dane Dunning back out for his second inning of work. See if he settles in here a little bit. Strike one right down Broadway. Renfroe taking all the way, hitting .254 on the year. This one misses just a little too far outside this time. 1-1. Another one misses even further outside. Bochy looking on. I think this is a good opportunity for Dane Dunning to kind of let Bruce Bochy know that he's a real option to be in this rotation long term. I mean, this was his job the last 2 years in Texas, ever since the trade that sent Lance Lynn to the White Sox and Dane Dunning back to Texas. This one's fouled off by Renfroe, now 2-2. I'm sure Dunning would love nothing more than to earn another starter's role as a starting pitcher, and especially when you consider the salaries, etc., for a middle reliever versus a starting pitcher. I mean, just for his own future financially, you'd understand why you want to be a starter. But that's what he's always done. He's always been a starter, and that's what I think Dane Dunning would ideally like to do. Now, if this Rangers rotation certainly has a lot of guys in that who are significant injury risks. You start with Jacob deGrom, Andrew Heaney, etc. John Gray missed some time last year, so there is opportunities there for him to fill in on the regular. The question will be, will he be able to take one of their spots in the long run? Now, remember that they do have Andrew Heaney signed for 1 year plus the option. They have Eovaldi signed for 2 plus the option, I believe. And then they have deGrom 5 plus an option. So the rotation, at least for 1 year, is locked up. Perez is there for this year, and then we'll see if they sign him to a long-term deal during the year. But there will be openings over the next year or two for a starter. They have a lot of starting pitchers at the minor league level, at the upper levels of the minors as well. And they got a lot of good starting pitching coming. And then, of course, they have that high draft pick as well this year, so they could bring in another high-quality starting pitcher. Sounds like they might go with a college bat at this point, though. They're also heavily scouting a high school bat, Jenkins, an outfielder, but he'll be a little bit further away. Rangers do need some long-term outfielders. They got a couple of good prospects in the minors, but you need more than just a couple. Evan Carter looks like he's going to be every bit as good as Josh Young, maybe even a hair better offensively, so he could be your right fielder or left fielder of the future as Renfroe strikes out swinging. Nice work there after a competitive at-bat there by Renfroe. But the Rangers certainly have a lot of options going forward. They could trade some of that upper levels of the minors as far as starting pitcher talent, some of their position player talent that they've got a little bit of a logjam there with middle infielders. Trade it for a big bat at the deadline, maybe a bullpen arm. We haven't even mentioned the bullpen difficulties that they've had. We'll get into that in just a few moments. But Ward is up there after taking ball one, taps this one back to the screen, and it's 1-1. He's hitting .237 this year. In 32 games, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs, OPS of .698. This one just a little bit outside, based on the zone that the home plate umpire has been working with today. 2-1. Dunning up to 28 pitches through 1 1/3 innings. And this one misses well inside. It's now 3-1. Issues for the Rangers out of that bullpen have primarily been walks, and here we've seen already Dane Dunning have 1 walk today. You'd hate to see that here once again. Mike Maddox is probably the #1 proponent of not issuing walks. Bochy, probably right in line behind him, but if Dunning wants to prove himself to earn a spot in this rotation, he's going to have to eliminate the base on balls the rest of the way, I would imagine. That's why you brought in a guy like Jacob deGrom, Nate Eovaldi, and Andrew Heaney, because all of those guys do not walk batters. 3-2 is tapped to Duran. 3 hopper And nice strong throw over to first for the second out of the inning. Duran has certainly played a good shortstop. Seen him make a couple of nice plays so far. The first one was a good ranging play to be able to get the runner at second. And then this one kind of patient and then a good strong throw to first. So far so good for Duran defensively. We mentioned that we're going to be doing the Baltimore and Atlanta game tomorrow. Baltimore got the win today, 9-4. Another one misses outside. Brandon Drury in the box, hitting .235 through 29 games this year. 6 homers, 18 RBIs, 753 OPS. Right at the knees, right at the bottom of the zone, middle of the plate, 1-1. If you guys are new here to the Upside, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Really does help us out. The 1-1 is lifted into deep center. On the warning track and settling under is Taveras and making the catch. For the third out of the inning, we go to the third. 0-0, our score. Now, we talked a little bit about the success of the lineup has had so far this year. I don't think it's sustainable as far as their ability to drive in runs at the clip they're driving them in right now with runners in scoring position. That's why I keep mentioning the offense, about how they're going to need one more bat in this lineup, because they're going to have some regression from guys like Grossman, from guys like Garcia and Young and Heim. All these guys who are having really good numbers so far with runners in scoring position. You're going to see some of those numbers start to dip a little bit. If you get those numbers to stay at that level, great, but I'm not expecting it. Those players have never hit at that level with runners in scoring position before. Not to say that they couldn't, but to expect it, I think, is folly for the Rangers front office. That's why I think they still need to add one more bat, whether that be promoting from within or adding someone from at the trade deadline with the pieces that they have at the minor league level. Now, as far as the bullpen, I mentioned that the erratic control issues that they've had out there have been a big problem for the Rangers. They've lost a number of games that way over the last week or two. I mentioned in the video that I put out on Wednesday that they've had a ton of issues with Jose Leclerc, among others, that are just surrendering leads late. I went to the game against the Oakland A's where John Gray was great through 3 innings, struggled for another couple, and then they pulled him. And then in the 9th, we see Will Smith give up the game-winning home run to a guy in his 3rd ever plate appearance. And then we see against the Cincinnati Reds, back-to-back walk-off losses in Cincinnati. That just can't happen, especially when you have the money that you've invested in that starting pitching. You have to be able to finish it off. We told you at the beginning of the season the issues for the Rangers. They needed one more bat. So far, it hasn't proven to bite them yet. The bullpen was really good for the first couple of weeks, and then immediately, just like that, the bullpen was immediately an issue. Jose Leclerc is probably the face of that, for better or worse. He is just absolutely erratic right now. I'm not sure if he has an option left on his contract, but something I would seriously consider is optioning him down to the minors if possible. Either that or saying, he's got a tight shoulder, put him on the 10-day IL, whatever the case may be. But something like that might have to happen right now, at least in the short term. Long term, they need a closer. As this one misses, and it's quickly 2-0 here to Marcus Semien, leading off here in the top of the 3rd. Anderson up to 34 pitches now, as this one finds the zone and fouled off. Appreciate all of you guys watching right now. Semien reached base safely in 17 of his last 18 games. Rangers have a number of guys who are like that right now. That one well up and in. 3-1. Just through this game already, just so you can kind of see what kind of numbers Anderson has. He came into the game with over a 5.5 ERA. He's already dropped it to a 5.34. Something the Angels would really like to see is to get that number under 4. Semien takes the leadoff walk, and it'll be up to Robbie Grossman. Grossman with that hit back in the 1st is up to his .263 average. He's been significantly better than I think most Rangers fans would like or would have to admit when they signed him to that 1-year, $2 million deal. Honestly, I was expecting something like a Jurickson Profar at that late in the free agency period, but they're able to get their guy, and he's been great for them. And low-cost option, and one guy, as I mentioned, there's 2 guys that are really in trouble of losing their roster spot once Corey Seager comes back, because I think they're going to keep the line up pretty much the rest of the way the same. But I think they're going to have either Brad Miller DFA'd or they're going to send down Bubba Thompson. But Grossman's certainly earned his spot on this roster as well. Pickoff attempt over to first. Grossman is ahead in the count 2-0. That's the first disengagement we've seen. As I mentioned, base stealing is up this year. Maybe we'll see something here with Marcus Semien. He does like to go after that first pickoff attempt. Rangers have already had one stolen base here in the game by a guy who really doesn't steal them, in Jonah Heim, his first stolen base of the year. Now a 3-0 count as that one misses. Anderson up to 39 pitches, make it 40 as this one finds the zone. It's now 3-1, excuse me. Appreciate the like. Thank you very much. Feel free to send us your questions, trade scenarios, news, etc. Got some news. Another pitcher went down due to injury today. That's the second disengagement now as he threw over to first. The 3-1. That one misses low. Ball 4. Another walk here. Anderson struggling with his control. Rangers are up to 3 walks already in the game that they've collected. And Nate Lowe will be up next, or I should say Nathaniel, as his mother and himself likes to correct the media. It's Nathaniel Lowe. He's hit safely in 7 of his last 8. Another pickoff attempt, this time to second base, and that one, I mean, if Netta wasn't there in front, that might have hit Semien, but either way, I'm not sure why you throw to second there. This one misses low and in, ball 1. Something we saw in the last at-bat is that pitch called a strike, except that one I think was a little bit lower than what the other ones were. Opponent average this year from when facing Tyler Anderson, way higher than it was last year with the Dodgers. I think that's part of the reason for the struggles for Anderson here with the Los Angeles Angels. It's not the climate. It's the same climate. After all, the Dodgers are in LA as well. 1-1 here to Nathaniel Lowe. The set by Anderson and the pitch. Well outside, 2-1. Be very interesting here if if he walks the bases full. Second time through the lineup, hitters are hitting .326 off of Anderson this year. This one is chopped to second and not getting the tag, but getting the runner at first anyway, is Rengifo. Good play there by Grossman to make sure he gets around that second base tag, or what would have been an attempt anyway. But Rengifo makes sure he gets the one out, and it'll be Adolis Garcia to try to drive in the runs. One of the Rangers' leaders in RBIs, one of Major League Baseball's leaders in RBIs as well. Garcia hitting .308 in his last 14 games. The pitch up and in, ball 1. So far, 46 pitches through 2 1/3, only 25 strikes for Anderson. Now 2-0. If I'm a Rangers hitter right now, I'm putting the bat on my shoulder until I get at least 1 strike on me. And even then, I'd have to see a perfect pitch right in my wheelhouse to get the bat off my shoulder. Rangers, with the runners in scoring position this year, are hitting .340. That's the highest in Major League Baseball. Again, that's part of the reason why their offense has been so good. This one finds the zone on the outer half. 2-1. Garcia is tied for the Major League lead with Rafael Devers with 31 RBIs so far this year. The set and the pitch. Swung on and missed. Nice off-speed pitch at the top of the zone on the outside corner. Now 2-2. Anderson working a little quicker here. Wonder if he's trying to find a rhythm. This one bends Garcia back, and it's now 3-2, giving him a little bit of chin music. The 3-2 pitch. The set. And the pitch. Hard hit. This one into left. Will be playable, though. Right to Ward. This should score 1 run. Simeon does score for the first run of the game. Sacrifice fly there for Adolis Garcia, and he takes sole possession of the Major League Baseball lead in RBIs at 32. Runner stays at second base. With 2 outs now, it'll be up to Josh Young to keep it going for the Rangers. Nice work there by Adolis Garcia. Good pitch to drive. Looks like it jammed him just enough. Otherwise, I think that one is out of there, even with the Marine air in LA. First pitch here to Young is a ball. And again, once again, he's struggling with command here early in the count. This one misses north of the zone. Anderson working a little bit quicker over the last couple of batters. Looks like he's trying to find a different kind of a rhythm. And this one misses again. It's now 2-0. Got to see if you can find a pitch to drive here. Angels just trying to get this inning over with so they can get back in the dugout. Swing and a miss. 2-1. That pitch was a little off the outside corner. That pitch has been called a strike, though, today, so I get why he's swinging at it. But as I mentioned, you got to put that bat on your shoulder if that pitch isn't right in your wheelhouse. And Young has a tendency to chase at some points early in the count. This one bounces in the dirt way low beneath the zone. Almost bounced on the plate anyway. It's now 3-1. Not a chance to swing at that one. But early in the count, he's had a tendency to chase a little bit. Late in the count, he's had a tendency to be a little bit too patient. So if that ball is close, Josh Young, you got to get that bat off your shoulder with 2 strikes. The 3-1. Right down Broadway. Off-speed pitch. 80-mile-an-hour changeup, it looked like. Now 3-2. Wonder if the changeup threw him off just a little bit. That was a pitch he certainly could have drove. Looks like we're going to have a timeout here. Young steps back into the box. 3-2 is the count. Runner will be off with the pitch with 2 outs here. Really don't want to see another walk here if you're Anderson. And that one misses low. Young is patient and gets the walk. 2 on, 2 outs. Jonah Heim due up next. Remember, he had that excuse me check swing, if you will, with base hit in the first. Heim certainly has brought the power so far this season. He also had that stolen base earlier. You can see that they're showing the highlight right now on Bally Sports of Jonah Heim hitting that a home run off of Tyler Anderson when he was with the Mariners. Heim hitting .319 over his last 21, but he's been hitting fairly well all season. He's got a .302 average right now on the year. Ezekiel Duran waits on deck, so you don't exactly just want to pitch around Heim here thinking, it's the 7th hitter in the lineup. Duran's been probably the best hitter in the Rangers lineup over the last 2 weeks, so you don't necessarily want to just let this one go by. Opportunity here for the Rangers. The first pitch after a mound visit. This one's broken bat, and this one drops in front of the Rangers dugout. Drury gave it a nice chase, but wasn't able to get there in time, and it's 0-1. Heim kind of shaking his hands a little bit. Had him throw him a baseball just to get the tingling out of his fingers. Gets a new piece of lumber. Did it break his bat, or did it just slip out of his hands? Looks like it just slipped out of his hands. In either event, it's 0-1 here. Anderson up to 58 pitches now through 2 2/3. Here comes pitch 59. The set by Anderson. And the pitch. Hard hit, but this one's going to be playable. Into left center, that Marine hair kind of knocking it down. Trout is well underneath it in plenty of time and makes the catch. But the Rangers do score a run on the sacrifice fly by Adolis Garcia. And they lead it 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. It'll be Tice, Rengifo, and Neto for the Angels here in the bottom of the third. Trout in the cleanup spot this inning. Appreciate you guys joining us. As I mentioned, we'll have that Baltimore and Atlanta game tomorrow. Let's check in on the standings. We told you guys this was kind of a big game early in the season for the AL West crown. Just looking at things as it stands. Let me get this refreshed real quick. There we go. All right, so the Rangers are 18-12 right now. They lead it by a game over the Angels. Angels have played a couple of games already more than the Rangers. They've lost both of those games, so if the Rangers are able to win, obviously that margin will increase. But at the moment right now, it's a one-game lead in the AL West for the Rangers. They were off yesterday. Kind of split the series anyway with the Arizona Diamondbacks a couple of days ago. You have the Houston Astros kind of having an up and down start to their season. They, of course, are without Jose Altuve for the time being. They're 16-15, 2.5 games back, but they should be every bit the superpower we expect them to be by the All-Star break. One team that's kind of performed really well over the past week anyway is the Seattle Mariners. They lost Robbie Ray. They really weren't performing well early in the year. They seem to have gotten a little bit better performances over the last few days and starting to get things turned around a little bit. They're now 15-16, only 3.5 back of the Rangers in the AL West. And their season's certainly starting to look a lot brighter, especially when you consider the bad news that they got with Robbie Ray going to be out for the season with flexor tendon surgery. And then, of course, bringing up the rear in this division, the Oakland A's. As I mentioned earlier, multiple times, this is a team that's going to struggle to win 40 games. I think they'll still get there, but I think it'll be a real fight all the way until September until we get to see them get over that 40-win mark. So don't hold your breath on 60 wins if you're an Oakland A's fan. This is a AAA baseball team at best right now, and they're just waiting to move to Vegas at this point. First pitch by Dunning, swung on and missed by their catcher. Tice having a few words for the home plate umpire there. I guess he thinks Dunning quick pitched him, I guess. This time, plenty of time for him to sit there and wait on that one. And that one finds the outside corner, 0-2. Rangers 5-5 in their last 10. Angels 7-3. Strike three right at the bottom of the zone. Catches Tice looking. Dunning coming out swinging here in the third. 3-pitch strikeout there. He's up to 37 pitches. 15 balls so far. Rengifo takes a timeout here before things get started. Nice framing by Heim. I mean, that was a perfectly dotted pitch right at the bottom of the zone, but Heim is one of the best framers in all of baseball. Really does not get enough love for what he does behind the plate, and he's really putting it together offensively. The question will be, can he keep it that way for 162? That was his issue in the second half, where he really just wore down because just the amount of baseball he was having to be played at the major league level. Something he hadn't really done yet in his career. But now with another season under his belt, we'll see if his conditioning is a little bit better and if he can handle the position a little bit better over 162. Rangers really need to get him a good backup catcher option. That way he's not having to trot out there every 4 days or all 4 days, and then on that fifth day they're having him pinch hit or come in late. They need that backup catcher to be able to hold things down for at least one game through the rotation. This one misses, and it's now 2-2 to Rengifo. That did not miss by much. As you can see on the screen right now, that pretty much dotted the inside corner there, right at the bottom of the zone. That pitch has been called a strike, but I guess this one was a little low. And now it's 3-2, as that one misses well beneath the zone. Rengifo's had a good career here for the Angels over the last couple of years. He's really been one of their most consistent players. This one lined back up the center, softly anyway, and they easily get Rengifo. Dunning almost made a play on it, but Duran coming over closes off that hole into center and throws him out at first. It'll be up to Neto to keep this inning going for the Angels. Dunning 43 pitches, 2 2/3, 2 strikeouts. Not exactly Jacob deGrom out there. He goes about it a little bit differently, but still very effective. This is an improved Angels team. This one's kind of an excuse me swing there by Neto. Tapped it foul. 0-1. Swing and a miss at that one, well beneath the zone. Now 0-2. Takes time here to readjust his batting gloves. A little reminiscent of Nomar Garcia-Parra, the way he did that. This one misses well outside. 1-2. Trying to get him to chase at that off-speed pitch. The set by Dunning. And the pitch. Little tapper, Dunning off of his glove. And this is going to end up in no man's land. The runner will be safe. This is probably going to go as an error on Dunning, honestly. If he lets it go, he's out. If Dunning catches it cleanly, he's out. Not sure if you can expect the clean catch there by Dunning. I mean, it wasn't a hard hit, but that's one that should have been caught there by Dunning. That should go as an error, honestly. Did he have his hand in front of his eyes when he tried to get that too? That probably is why it bounced off the glove. He literally had his hand like this in front of his eyes. I guess wiping sweat off of his forehead after the pitch or pushing up his glasses. In either event, this inning should be over. Misses ball one. Mike Trout. Interesting note there on the screen. 25 career multi-home run games for Mike Trout. That's the most in Angels history. Not surprising there. This one finds his own 1-1. And now a pickoff attempt for the first disengagement there of the at-bat. 1-1 is still the count to Mike Trout. We'll see if he's able to put a charge into one here for the Angels. After surrendering a run in the top half of the third, Angels trying to tie the score here. This one misses just off the outside corner, something that's been called a strike for the first two innings for both pitchers, really, is not this time. It was a little bit outside by the by the cam, but you can see that pitch right there in that white section on the screen, that's been called a strike. This one jams him off the fists. Now 2-2. Trout takes a little bit of a walk here. This one misses low and away, trying to get him to chase on it. Can't really blame him. You don't necessarily want to surrender a 2-run home run here. It's now going to be 3-2. Heim adjusts the defense a little bit, stepping in front of home plate. Dunning up to 52 pitches now. Next strikeout will be Dane Dunning's 300th of his career. This one off the fists and into right field. This should get the runner over to third. Or do they hold him up at second? Nice piece of hitting there by Trout. They do hold him up. 2 outs, 2 on here for the Angels. Ohtani, who had that hard hit smash back in the first inning off the glove of Nathaniel Lowe. Trout was forced out at second on the play. It'll be up to him to keep things going here for the Angels. The set here by Dunning. And the pitch. This one's rolled out to Lowe off of his glove again. Covering in time is Dunning, and they get the out. Almost an error again there on the Rangers, but they get the job done. And that's through 3 innings. Rangers lead it 1-0. It'll be Duran, Tavares, and Thompson due up in the top half of the fourth. Now, one thing I kind of want to talk about a little bit more is about Corey Seager. He's expected to be back. 7 to 10 days was the estimate a couple of days ago, so I guess we're 5 to 8 days away from Corey Seager being back on this Rangers team. And 2 players that have got to put a good impression forward for Bruce Bochy have got to be Thompson here, Bubba Thompson, and Brad Miller. Now, for Bubba Thompson, he's a very good defender. That he might have the leg up just from a defensive standpoint to keep him on the roster. Duran, of course, can play at DH, he can play at first base, third base, give players off a day off all around the infield. So his versatility is going to come into play quite a bit. So that's why I think the defensive abilities of a Thompson give him a leg up over a guy like Brad Miller, because Brad Miller's asset to this team is he's able to play first, he's able to play at outfield a little bit, but his biggest asset is that he's got that experience. He can be a DH for you, has a little bit better bat anyway than Thompson, but if he's not hitting at a clip that's significantly better than the defense Thompson can give you when he's in the lineup, then he's obviously the guy out. You obviously have more of a future plan for a guy like Bubba Thompson than you do for a guy like Brad Miller. As good of a clubhouse guy as Brad Miller is, he's probably the odd man out at this point in the season, and you have to think, later on in the year, are you really going to hold up one or two roster spots just for guys that you hope have a rebound to their season? Brad Miller's had had a down year last year for the Rangers. Didn't exactly have a great year the year before that, before he joined the Rangers. This year, of course, he had that home run in his first game action with the Rangers, but immediately after that, we've seen him kind of struggle. And he's been kind of the one link in this lineup that really hasn't clicked yet offensively. Same thing for Bubba Thompson. His speed is dynamic, but he's not able to get on base enough for that to really be a threat. He is a good late inning base runner, pinch runner for whoever you might want to have him come in for. Rangers as a team have a pretty good base running team, so he's not going to get that opportunity that often. Ezekiel Duran is behind now 0-1, and he fouls this one back, and it's quickly 0-2. He has an RBI in 6 straight games, but Duran is forcing this decision for the Rangers. I mean, Bubba Thompson, again, his defense is going to be his calling card, but he's got to be able to provide a little bit of offense. Now, if Brad Miller can hit 240, 250, then maybe Brad Miller stays, but I don't think Miller's going to be able to do it. If I'm the Rangers, I go ahead and get rid of Brad Miller. Now, I mentioned the A's might win their game today and get to 7 wins. They're quickly surrendering a ton of runs to the Kansas City Royals. They had a 9 runs before the 5th inning, as looks like Duran got hit by that one once again. Duran's been hit by a few pitches this year. Ouch. Right off the forearm, elbow area. That's the worst thing for the Rangers right now. As I mentioned, he's been their best hitter in the lineup over the past couple of weeks. Looks like it's off the forearm. Looks like he missed the elbow. Looks like they're going to keep him in the game. A little bit of a stinger. Probably going to have a raspberry on there tomorrow. That does not look like it feels very good. Duran, of course, the one big piece that they've got to work so far from that Joey Gallo trade. Another guy who actually could find his way back to Texas next season. He only signed a 1-year deal with the Minnesota Twins. Rangers are going to need a bat this either at the trade deadline or next off season. Duran's still trying to shake it off anyway, as Tavares takes ball 1. But as we were saying, Thompson and Miller are really going to have to force the decision of Bochy. Either one's going to have to earn it, or one's going to lose it. This one misses low, and it's now 2-0. Tough question. Do we want Seattle or Houston to win that series? This season, the series right now, honestly, it's too early in the season for me to have a rooting interest either way. I just want to see good baseball as a Rangers fan. That one, oh, wow. That's a call you had to have if you're Anderson. That missed beneath the zone, but he got the call. Now 2-1. That's a call you don't get if you're a little bit better hitter. Tavares, because he's not one of those name-recognized guys, doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. Good pickoff attempt there on Duran. I mean, he just got back in there in time. First disengagement there. But as far as who do we want to win, I guess Houston, just to kind of knock out Seattle from their nice run that they've had. Seattle does play Texas next. So I guess Seattle, just to get him back in that negative frame of mind. This one's off the end of the bat anyway, and foul well out of play down the first base line, 2-2. I would probably say if you're a Seattle to lose right now and Houston to win. Looks like Duran was off with the pitch on that one. Duran trying to do a little bit of everything right now for this Rangers team. The 2-2. That one, the off-speed pitch there misses well north of the zone. Now 3-2. Anderson up to 67 pitches through 3+ innings, 2 strikeouts, and again that earned run came on the sacrifice fly by Adolis Garcia, who still doesn't have a recorded at-bat in the game. He got a walk and then that sacrifice fly in his first 2 plate appearances. Another pickoff attempt, and for sure Duran, you'd think, want to get that big secondary lead. But again, if you get picked off, it still counts. If they don't pick you off, that's when it goes down as a balk. That one misses north of the zone, and Tavares takes the full count walk. So another walk here by Anderson. Rangers have been walked 5 times in the game. Got a couple good runners with speed up there. Wonder if they're going to have Thompson hit here or if they're going to have him do a sacrifice bunt. This could be something he could prove himself with by being able to get the bunt down. He's struggled with that at times. So maybe if you're the Rangers, you go ahead and either A, see if Bubba Thompson can drive in a run here, or if you want to just move the runner. Yep, they do try to get the bunt down, but it goes foul. Just not exactly great form on that bunt attempt by Thompson. He's trying to push it to the first base side. I don't know why. Maybe he's trying to push or get a bunt for a base hit, but when you have runners on first and second, you're taught to bunt the ball to third base and force the third baseman to field it so that your base runner is safe for sure at third base. This time he bunts it foul up into the air, making the catch after colliding with Rendon is Tice. And Thompson, I think that's the nail in the coffin if you didn't have Brad Miller on your roster. Bubba Thompson's defense, as good as it is, you're seeing the difficulties he's having at the plate. He can't get a base hit right now. He's struggling to get the bunt down. And just, what the... And it's not like he doesn't practice it. He's a guy with speed. You'd think he at least practices it. That pitch there was an easily pitch that you could easily handle for a bunt if you square around in time and not try to fool everybody. Everybody in the building saw you foul bunt the first one. Tice getting looked at here by the trainers a little bit. Angels kind of holding their breath. They've already lost one catcher right now. Last thing you want to do is lose your backup too. Tells everybody he's good. Has a laugh with the home plate umpire as he kind of shakes it off, catches his breath. I don't know. Chris Young has got some interesting decisions to make, not just about the return of Corey Seager, but what to do if Bubba Thompson's struggles still continue. Do they keep him on the roster? This one's lifted high into the air, and again, Marine Air is going to knock this one down. Hit hard, but it's over his head. Completely misplayed by Ward. A ground rule double, and this will score another run. That should go, I'm not sure if that'll go down as an error. That was an easily fieldable ball. I wonder if he just lost it in the sky up there, but in either event, Rangers are going to have runners in scoring position. 2 runs are now in total. The ball hung up there. There's plenty. Yeah, Ward is just kind of drifting over there. He doesn't see it until the very end. Trout is telling him to go back, go back, go back. And after looking at that replay a little bit, wow. Grossman outside ball 1. We'll see if Grossman's able to reach once again. He's reached on a base hit and a walk so far. This is the 3rd time through the lineup here, and we're only in the 4th inning. Anderson really struggling the 2nd and 3rd times through the lineup so far this year. Only 2 runs in so far. You're slightly ahead. I'm actually slightly ahead of you guys. It's just a little bit of a delay. I've got my phone on right now just to kind of make sure my broadcast is on. And like when I put up my 5 fingers, I'm just going to count how many seconds it goes until you guys actually see it. So here we go. 1, 2. Jaime Barria loosening out there. That one finds the zone. So about a 25-30 second delay, it looks like. 2-2 here on Grossman. Anderson up to 75 pitches. Swung on and missed, and Grossman is retired. Foul tip, though, into the glove. I actually get your messages in real time when y'all send them. Second and third still now 2 away, and it'll be up to Nathaniel Lowe to keep it going. This one's tapped foul. One guy I think could use a day off. I mentioned it the last time we covered a Rangers game is Nathaniel Lowe. While his approach is a little bit different, he just doesn't look quite right, like he's comfortable there, like he was in the second half of last year. So far this year with runners in scoring position, Lowe's hitting .351, 4 doubles, and 14 RBIs. Looks like there's a little bit of a delay. I wonder if a fan ran onto the field. Nope, it's a beach ball. Again, you're playing in LA. You're going to have some of those beach balls. I like the ball boy. He didn't even give it back to the fans. He just tosses it over the fence and into the service area. Long run for the ball boy, though. The 0-1. Hard hit back up the middle, but a little bit of a shift on. Misplay by the shortstop, and off the bag, the throw, and here comes the run to home. Oh, wow. Tavares scored, and what a nice play there by their first baseman to keep 2 runs from scoring. Just a couple of bobbles here and there. Drury made a nice play, though, to keep that ball from going all the way to the dugout there. But a misplay there by Neto. Fields it cleanly, drops it, throws it to first, pulls Drury off the bag. I think a strong throw beats Lowe to the bag anyway, and that ends the inning. But in either event, it's now a 3-0 ball game, and the inning continues. Looks like a pitch comm issue right now. This is not going the Angels' way right now. Couple of weird miscues out there for the Angels defensively this half inning. A ball lost in the lights by Ward, a ground rule double on Simeon that should have been an out. Another out that should have been right there for Nathaniel Lowe. A team that's supposed to be better defensively, a team that's supposed to be better offensively, and yet we're still seeing some defensive miscues here for the Angels. They're walking guys, their big free agent acquisition from the pitching side isn't working again. Although you can't really blame Anderson today aside from the walks. The fielding behind him hasn't done him any favors today. Swung on and missed as Garcia expands the zone a little bit. That's one thing he's really not done so far this year. He's, I think, decreased his swing percentage, his chase rate from about 27% to 17%. That's the highest drop in all of Major League Baseball from one season to the next. So good on Adolis for working on that. Doesn't mean he's perfect. He's still going to do it occasionally, but he's certainly made it an effort to work on that. His swing percentage is also down considerably overall. The 1-2 is tapped foul. A little broken bat roller just foul of first base. Tells the bat boy where the bat went. Waiting for a new piece of lumber from the dugout. Welcome in, Jeffrey. Go Angels. Well, they do need to kind of get things going defensively first and foremost. Then they can worry about the rest. Offensively, their lineup should be better, but we still haven't seen it as of yet today. No Jacob deGrom in what would have been his start for the Rangers today. Dane Dunning's kept the zeros going for him, or for the Rangers in that respect, though. He's been very dominant so far this season, pitching to a sub-2 ERA this year. The 1-2 pitch. Right on the inside corner. Beautiful pitch there by Anderson. Gets the job done. Catches Garcia looking. Got to think he was looking for something a little bit different there, but in either event, Rangers lead it through 3.5, 3-0, as we go to the bottom half of the fourth. Looks like the Athletics are trying to keep this victory that they thought they had in the bag against the Royals. It's now 10-8 there. Cubs beat the Marlins 4-1. Blue Jays 4-0 over the Pirates. Pirates have stumbled a little bit over the last week. Maybe their hot start is finally starting to fizzle out. We've got a few Pirates fans among us, so appreciate you guys joining us. But this season is about growth for them, and they've certainly had a decent amount to start the year. We'd like to see if their starting pitching can hold out for 162. Rays get a 5-4 victory over the Yanks in what was a very highly contentious ball game, to say the least. Randy Rosarania hit a home run in the first inning of that game, was proceeded to be hit by a pitch in the next at-bat, and then in the following at-bat, the umpires got together, said, we think it was a mistake, but we're not going to throw him out. It could have been intentional, but we're not sure, so we're not going to arbitrate and say he's out of the game. We're just going to go ahead and warn everybody the next guy who hits anybody is out of the game. So, of course, Kevin Cash comes out, the Tampa Bay Rays manager, and says, what the heck? I mean, this guy hit a home run. He was clearly hit the first time, intent or not. The second time that there's a hit batter there, you got to start doing something if you're the umpire. And clearly, instead of taking Albert Bray, who does struggle with his control, I still think there was at least something they could have done rather than just issue warnings at that point. If you don't think it's intentional, then just let it go. If you think it's intentional, then get him out of the game. But to throw out the manager of the team that's winning the game because you don't think that he came out there and addressed you properly, and he wasn't even that hot to begin with, and the first base umpire, the crew chief, let him have his say anyway. But I guess he kind of asked him, hey, do you want to be thrown out of this game? And then Kevin Cash continued to argue. That's when he was immediately thrown out. Kevin Cash continued to argue, kind of say his share, and then went to the dugout. But in either event, I mean, that's just something umpires need to handle a little bit better. We're back out here for the bottom of the fourth. Quickly 0-2 here on Rendon. Again, a wide zone on that first base side of home plate. This one's lifted foul, and it remains 0-2. Rendon, in his career off of Dunning, is 4 for 10. As I get something in my eye. This one misses well outside, not a competitive pitch. 1-2. Rendon a lot calmer than he was on opening day when we saw him. This one lifted into short left, gets down but he stops at first base. I thought he might have had a chance to go for 2 on that one. Thompson fields it quickly though and gets it back in, holding him to a single. And the lead runner is on here for the Angels. .511. No, yeah, 5 for 11. I got you. It'll be Renfroe next. Fouls that one away, and it's 0-1. Man, I got something right in my eye. There we go. That's a little better. The 0-1, beautiful pitch, dots the outside corner, 0-2. Little tapper up the middle. Nice job by Simeon. Flips to Duran on to first. And that's the double play. Remember, you have to have 2 infielders on their either side of second base before the play begins. So the Rangers, I guess, were onside, but that one was fielded right behind second base. Looks like he was about 2 steps off to the side, so it was a legitimate play. Now, if he had fielded it when he was already standing on the other side of second base, then it would have counted as a base hit, essentially. All the runners would have been safe. Looks like the Angels again continuing to add, or the Athletics adding on another run. Ward digging in. He's now he's behind or ahead 2-1. Excuse me. Fouls this one back. 2-2. 3-game hitting streak for Ward. Getting a little bit better offensive production. Remember, he was more of a top of the lineup guy for the Angels to start the year. His struggles have made him go down in that lineup just a little bit. 0 for 1 so far today. The 2-2 by Dunning. Nice pitch. High fastball gets him. And that's the third out of the inning. Dunning again puts up another 0. Just looking at where he's at pitch count wise. Dropped his ERA to 1.48. Dunning at 67 pitches. Anderson at 83. Both pitchers through 4 innings now. Tomorrow, Saturday, Lakers. What time is that Lakers game, by the way? I cannot remember. It's a Lakers-Golden State series, so it's going to be a late game. We may end up doing that one late tomorrow, since the Houston Astros-Seattle Mariners game is at 8:40. We're going to be doing the Baltimore Orioles and Atlanta Braves game at 6:45. So depending on how late that Lakers-Golden State game is, we may do that one for our nightcap tomorrow evening. Curious to see if they bring back Anderson. He did get a strikeout for his last hitter. Maybe they'll let him grow off of that, but they did have the bullpen going the last half inning. Just checking in on the rest of the standings anyway from around Major League Baseball. As we've seen over the last about week and a half now since we started doing our lives once again, the Minnesota Twins are still on top in the Central. Right now they're very comfortably ahead right now, 19-14, even with a couple of losses to division rival, the Chicago White Sox. White Sox are still 11 games under 500, so they've got a ways to go. So the White Sox with Carlos Correa, Joey Gallo, a lot of Texas ties, looks like they're going to handle that division. The competitive division that we all expected was the AL East, and that's exactly what we've gotten. The Tampa Bay Rays, anyway, have gotten out to a great start. Struggled a little bit over the last few weeks, but have kind of turned it back up again against the Pittsburgh Pirates and now the New York Yankees. Looks like Anderson is back out for the 5th inning. Takes strike 1. Josh Young at the plate. Baltimore, of course, 22-10. Boston is having a fantastic run right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10, as Young taps this one foul quickly behind 0-2. They're 7.5 games back, though. Toronto is at 19-14 in 4th place, and then the Yankees a 1 game above 500 at 17-16, but they're 10 games back already. So that's kind of your American League standings for you. The 0-2 here to Young. Misses outside, 1-2. 7 of the last 8 base hits for Josh Young have all been of the extra base hit variety. A lot of power in that bat right now. The lefty delivers. Nice pitch, high fastball there. Fouled off by Young. That was a pitch Young normally does drive, but is able to fight that one off and try to find one he's looking for. Maybe he wasn't expecting fastball on that one. The 1-2. This one's an off-speed pitch, low and away. Just a great sequence there by Anderson. Hard in, soft away, and it works. It's been working for decades. And that's the first out of the inning. Anderson up to 88 pitches. They might get through 5 here with Anderson. Jonah Heim digging in. 1 for 2 on the day. Fouls off the first one, up and in. That was a nice hard hit ball, though, by Heim. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the Upside. Hit that like and subscribe button. Really does help us out. I cannot tell you how much that actually helps us out. So if you wouldn't mind, just hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at UpsideSN, and you'll be notified whenever we do go live. We try to bring you at least 3 to 4 ball games a week, maybe even more depending on the week. But we'll be bringing you 1 game today. We might do a game or 2 tomorrow, depending on how quickly the Baltimore-Atlanta game finishes up. And then on Sunday, we'll have a triple header for you. Baltimore and Atlanta at 10:30, Houston, Seattle at 3, and then the Sunday night baseball game, the Dodgers and the Padres. The 0-2 here to Heim misses well north of the zone, 1-2. On Monday, we'll have the same Texas Rangers against the Seattle Mariners. They are facing the Houston Astros in a weekend series right now, so a lot of divisional play right now for Seattle and Texas. Heim fouls this one off once again. Anderson up to 92 pitches through 4 1/3. Looks like their bullpen is ready to go should they need to be called upon. The set and the pitch. Hard hit ball right between short and second and into center field, and Heim is on board once again. 2 for 3 on the day. Early in the season, you can see big swings in your batting average. You just saw an 8-point swing in Heim's, go from 299 to 307. Jeffrey, who do you want to win in Lakers series? I'm going to guess the Lakers. Ezekiel Duran, his first at bat since that hit by pitch, so we'll see if he's able to swing. Nice and easy. He handled that double play earlier flawlessly. This one in the dirt, ball 1. The 1-0 here from Anderson. Ooh, the off speed just fools Duran enough. That was a swing that would have sent it to the moon. And it's 1-1 now here on Ezekiel Duran. You'll get a lot of that early in the count with Duran, and then he still swings pretty hard at the end of the count, but still. He's definitely out there to swing for the fences. He's got a lot of power in that bat, and you can definitely see that every time with that hard hit rate. Had a smash earlier in the count. Home plate umpire takes off his mask, says something to the pitcher. 1-1. The set and the pitch. Off speed again, just off the outside corner. Swing and a miss by Duran. Looks like they're going with a lot of off speed right now. Duran takes his timeout. We've had one disengagement so far by the pitcher. You only get one as a batter anyway, and Duran just used his. The 1-2. This one's hit high into the air. Left field, settling under it is Ward, is playable. A ball hit that high is going to be knocked down. We've seen that multiple times in the game. Throw comes into second, chasing Heim back to first. But again, a hard hit ball there by Duran. Just that angle, that launch angle, it was not going to get out with that marine air. It'll be up to Leody Taveras to keep it going. 0 for 1 with a walk. He scored as well. He scored on that Nathaniel Lowe at bat the last half inning. Ball 1 here to Taveras. Again, more traffic here on the base paths. Rangers just causing Anderson to work every inning. He's up to 98 pitches. This one misses inside, and it's 2-0 now. Taveras is a guy that would like to see his batting average continue to tick upward. If the Rangers do make a big addition at the trade deadline, or if they bring in somebody like an Evan Carter from the minors, then you're going to look at possibly losing some playing time to a guy like Travis Jankowski, etc., especially with the hot start he's had. This one's lifted into right and gets down for a base hit in front of Renfroe. Heim goes around to third, and into second is Leody Taveras. The speed really on display there. A great job running there out of the box by Taveras, honestly, to get to second. I thought Renfroe, a really good arm in right field, would have had a chance to throw him out at second, And he almost did, but Tavares gets the job done. Anderson now at 100 pitches. Got to imagine this is going to be it for him. Just kind of cued it off the end of the bat, down the first base line, and just found some space out there. Raises his batting average 13 points with that base hit. Again, he missed some time to start the season, and it'll be up to Bubba Thompson. No need to bunt here for Bubba Thompson. He couldn't get it down last inning. Takes a high strike on the outside corner at the top of the zone. Swing and a miss at this one beneath the zone away. Just tough to see Thompson having any real confidence at the plate right now. Rangers, as I mentioned, were really good with runners in scoring position before coming into today. And so far today, they're 1 for 9. So they've certainly had their opportunities to put even more runs on the board. This one just completely overmatched right there. It was Thompson. He looks like he needs to go back down and build some confidence at this point. I get he's out there because Jankowski's a left-handed hitter. Thompson's a righty, so you'd assume he's going to have a better day at the plate. But if you're a Ranger fan, I mean, you'd like to see the whole lineup produce, and I understand that's not necessarily feasible, and you're going to have some players who are better than others in any lineup, but consistently struggling the way we're seeing him struggle right now is not doing him any favors as a ball player. Sure, you'd like to get him some consistent major league at-bats and just see what he can really do. I mean, the Rangers have carried really poor performances at the plate over the last few years, but this is not a year where they're trying to rebuild and see what they got in the minors. This is a year where they're trying to contend for the American League West. They're trying to contend and put a really good pitching staff together, and they're playing very well, but the struggles of the bullpen are hurting them. The struggles at the bottom of their lineup are hurting them. Those are why we could see the Rangers make some moves. Now, besides bringing up Corey Seager and still having Ezekiel Duran in the lineup, what do they do about the Bubba Thompson situation or the Brad Miller situation, depending on who they decide to keep out of those two? I still think there's a way that they can add one more bat to this lineup. You'd think Mitch Garver comes up at some point. I don't think you'll carry 3 hitters, or 3 catchers anyway. Sandy Leon's done a really good job as a backup catcher, but he doesn't play enough to be able to give enough time off to Jonah Heim. Mitch Garver, if he's able to do enough with the bat to do that for Jonah Heim, maybe give him, 7 days of work and 3 days off out of every 10 games. Something like that would be exactly what the doctor ordered for the Rangers. Right now they're having Jonah Heim work probably 9 out of those 10 games, and that's not going to be sustainable after we saw his issues with durability as we got into later in the season last year with Jonah Heim. He just kind of wore out physically, and I think he's going to be better this year, don't get me wrong, but you don't want to wear him out. We don't really see too many 162-game catchers anymore, and there's a reason for it. It's a very physically demanding position. Dane Dunning back out here for the 5th inning. He's at 68 pitches. I expected he'd probably go to about 75, 80 pitches, so this is probably his final inning of work. This one's lifted up in the air, just outside of first base in foul territory. Lowe makes the catch, and there's 1 away. Tice, who struck out on 3 pitches last time, is up. Heim is absolutely fantastic. Are we done with Sam Huff? I don't think he's done enough to really prove or to show that he can do it at the major league level. That's why I wonder if you're going to see if Sam Huff can really get some consistency at the minor league level, and then he's the bat going the other way in a trade for whichever guy you bring in at the deadline. First pitch swinging to Duran. It's rolled over to Duran anyway, and on to first, and Tice is retired. Dunning up to 70 pitches. He may get into the 6th inning if they keep swinging early in the count. Rengifo due up. Last season had a career-high 52 RBIs. As I mentioned, he was very consistent for them. He was basically the only protection in the lineup for Shohei Ohtani last year. That tells you just how poor that lineup was by the end of the season. This one, a high strike. Looked like it was a little bit above the zone, but gets the call, 0-1. I don't like that if I'm an Angels fan. And again, this one's tapped out to second. Simeon Fields on to first. And at 72 pitches, it'll be curious to see whether or not Dunning comes out. But he's been very effective today. But yeah, Bubba Thompson just does not have any confidence at the plate. You can see it in his face when he's out there. He looks like he has all the confidence in the world when he's playing defense. Where's that same confidence when he gets into the batter's box? It's just gone. I like Bubba Thompson, the player. I like Bubba Thompson, the guy, but what he's providing to this team right now is worthy of a September call-up, not an everyday position or a fourth outfielder on your roster right now. He just needs to get everyday at bats at the minor league level. Maybe bring up another bat up to the major league level, like a Justin Foskey right now, and just see if what he has at the major league level. The Rangers are going to have to get some of those upper level minor hitters up to the major league level and see what they got. You don't necessarily want to part with a potential superstar in a trade. So getting a guy like Foskey up to the big league level would be very important if I'm a Rangers fan, just because I want to see what he has in store. I'd look at a guy like Nick Solak a couple of years ago with the Rangers, who looked like he was great in his first season with the Rangers. Then the more you found out about him, you really realized he didn't have quite what you needed to kind of stick at the major league level. And you would have liked to have traded him, but you'd at least like to know what you have before you deal him in a move. So we'll see how things work out. I'd much rather play Steinbrenner, spend a lot of money of Moneyball than Oakland Moneyball. Well, I mean, Oakland had to do it. There was no way around it. I mean, if you're Billy Beane in that spot, what were you going to do? The owner literally said you could not spend money, period. And so they did a great job doing what they did. You can't fault the baseball folks for what they do. You can fault ownership all you want. But the baseball people there, they deserve an absolute tip of the cap. The one thing I don't like about what they did is they told everybody what they did. They spilled the secret sauce. They told everybody the recipe. Tampa has never done that, and that's why they've mastered it. Just like you say, Hank, I mean, all the other GMs and head coaches that have come out, or managers anyway, that have come out of that Tampa Bay Rays organization haven't been able to duplicate that level of success at other stops. Sure, they've had good careers, but they have never spilled the beans on why it worked in Tampa. What's the analytics department telling them? Why did they go to the opener before everybody else? That's why I think a team like Kansas City right now, who's struggling to win games, is experimenting with different ways of trying to win, like still having the shift and having 5 infielders as opposed to the standard 4. They're bringing over their left fielder and trying to catch that pull hitter sleeping anyway. So we'll see how things go. Marcus Semien, his last base hit anyway was his 1,200th of his career. Congratulations, Marcus Semien. Berea is on Indeed for the LA Angels. Strike 1 here to Semien in the top of the 6th. This one's lifted foul down the first base line. Will it get out of play? Drury over for a look, and it's about 6 rows back out of play. 0-2. But to your point there, Hank, I mean, Tampa Bay, as good as they've been, they have never spilled their beans. They've never told anybody, what's making it work for them. And I'm sure they're adapting it all the time. Looks like the Rangers do have the bullpen going. It is Josh Sborz? Yep. Josh Sborz is looking like the guy loosening out there for the Rangers. Usually the guy that's brought in mop-up duty right now. But we'll see if he's effective. That's one guy out there in the bullpen that they could possibly use an upgrade over at some point. But he's been decently effective so far this year. This one's lined into center and will get down in front of Trout. Semien gets another base hit. He's 2 for 3 in the game, raising his average 10 points in the game up to 287. But Sborz looks like he's going to be coming in for Dunning. 72 pitches. Looks like that's going to be it for Dunning. You don't necessarily want to overdo it, and Dunning's been fantastic for you for 5 innings. Kind of a spot start duty. He was great in that last half inning as well. Lead runner is on here for the Rangers. Robbie Grossman now from the left side. Takes a strike on the inside corner. Pickoff attempt by the catcher to first, and he is safe. That will not count as a disengagement because it was from the catcher, not the pitcher. Grossman behind 0-1 now. Beautiful pitch by Berea right at the top of the zone. Now 0-2. Grossman 1 for 2 on the day. Reached on a walk as well. He also has been struck out. He's gotten a lot more playing time than I think Rangers fans expected to start the year. This one misses beneath the zone, 1-2. Well, that's one thing you got to look forward to is robo-umps are coming, my friend. They're experimenting with it at the minor league level all over the place. I'd imagine next year we will see robo-umps. Just look at all the changes Major League Baseball made to their roster this year, or to their the way the schedule is made, to the play on the field, even to the field itself. The defensive rules have changed, as that one misses low, 2-2. This one up and away, did not offer at it, and now is 3-2. But baseball certainly tried to show all the young fans out there that they're willing to improve the game, to make changes, that it's not going to be the same game your granddad saw and his granddad saw and his granddad's granddad saw. Swing and a miss. Nice off-speed pitch by Berea, and there is one away. Nathaniel Lowe due up next. He has not had a great day at the plate, but reached on an error last time up and a run scored on it. Looks like Dane Dunning is definitely done. He's got his sweater on, drinking some water, joking around in the dugout. He had a great day today. 69% strike percentage on his fastball. He definitely worked a lot with that today. Swing and a miss by Lowe. Again, this is a guy I think needs a day off so badly in this lineup. I think when Corey Seager comes back, he might be the first guy to get a day off. This one's lifted down the third base line and out of play. About another 40 feet to the right, and that might have gone out. And I mean barely, but again, Nathaniel Lowe just doesn't look quite right at the plate. He looks anxious sometimes. He looks hesitant at others. He looks too anxious or too, amped at other times. Looks like a statue at others. He just doesn't look comfortable, I guess is the best way to put it. And so that's why I'd probably take a day off if I'm Nathaniel Lowe. He's dropped his average down to 250. All the strides that he made to improve his swing last year, they're still there. They're just fewer and farther between. We didn't expect him to hit 340 this year, but 250 is a far cry from what he did last year. Another pickoff attempt. Simeon is back in there safely. But he would be the first guy I'd give a day off to if I'm the manager. Now remember, Duran has taken balls over there at first base, so maybe Duran moves over to first for a game or two to give Lowe a day off. You plug Seager in there at that 3 spot in the lineup with Lowe out. That's one thing I think the Rangers could tinker with their lineup when Seager comes back. Seager, normally the 2-hole hitter. The success that they found with Grossman and Jankowski alternating in there at that 2 spot in that lineup, I think they could do something very similar once Corey Seager comes back. Move Seager into that 3 spot. Move Lowe down in the lineup just a little bit in between Garcia and Young. Himes had been a great producer in this lineup as well. But I think moving a little bit of pressure off of Lowe into that 5th spot might be just what he needs right now once Seager gets back. Just an interesting thought to kind of think about how this lineup is really going to be constructed. More of an on-base guy in front of Seager, Garcia, and Lowe. Let them really drive in some more runs. Then you have your 1, 2, 3 is Simeon, Grossman, or Jankowski, and then Lowe. The 1-2 misses north of the zone, now 2-2. But Simeon, Grossman, Seager, or Jankowski in that 2 spot. Then you have Garcia, Lowe, and Young as your 4, 5, 6. Your 7 is Heim, your 8 is Duran, and then your 9 is Tavares. This one's lifted out to Ward and left. This time he has no trouble finding it in the lights. Makes a strong throw into second. But Simeon was not going on that one. And it'll be up to Adolis Garcia to keep it going for the Rangers here in the top of the 6th. Good performance here by Berea out of the bullpen. At one time was a starter for this Angels team. Has found a little bit more of a role in that long relief role out there in the bullpen now. Tonight, Garcia got a walk in his first plate appearance, a sacrifice fly in his second, and was struck out in his third. This one about 2 feet outside. Oh, or excuse me, 1-0. That'd be a very healthy lineup with Duran in that 8 spot. Or if he really continues to at this clip, maybe he moves up to that 2 hole. But I really like the idea of having Seager as your 3 hole hitter and moving low down. I think the biggest priority there is just to get more guys on base in front of Corey Seager. High on base guys like Jankowski, like Grossman so far this year, or whoever they decide to put in that spot, I think would be exactly what the doctor ordered for this lineup. Swing and a miss. Healthy swing at that one. Rangers with a plus 22 run differential in the 6th inning, highest in all of Major League Baseball. It's now 3-2 as that one misses low and away, and Simeon will be off with the pitch on this one. Cardinals look like they're going to lose yet another game, this time to the Tigers, 5-4. Yuck! We talked a little bit in previous videos about teams struggling. Cardinals are one of the worst right now, going through really big time struggles. Looks like the Padres beginning a series with the Dodgers are up 4-1 in that one. The 3-2 pitch here by Berea is fouled off. Back over the screen and we'll do it again. Berea in this inning had to work a little bit. He's already to 23. We're going to see pitch number 24 here. It was actually caught in the Rangers booth by Dave Raymond. Wow. You don't see that often. This one, they're going to sit. Yeah, he swung and missed at that one. Garcia tried to sell it for a half second as a foul tip, but he kind of nodded to the umpire, says, yeah, I didn't get it. But in either event, we go to the bottom of the 6th, 3-0. No, it's Brock Burke who's going to be coming into the game, not Spores. So he will be the guy coming out of the Rangers bullpen. Got to think he'll get probably 2 innings out of him. That's probably the best case scenario for the Rangers. Cole Ragans might be another option if they can't get 2 out of him. You got to imagine with the lead right now, you're going to see Jonathan Hernandez at some point. You might see Will Smith and Jose Leclerc. That's kind of your winning bullpen, if you will. And even with the bullpen issues they've had, they've still gone back to these guys over and over and over again. Jonathan Hernandez has been very reliable, but he's had his goofs every now and again. Smith's been pretty good. He has coughed up 1 or 2. He was responsible for that loss against the Oakland A's. Angels will have the top of the lineup, Neto, Trout, and Ohtani here in the bottom of the 6th. 3-0 Rangers lead. Darn allergies. Looks like we're just getting back from commercial break. Dane Dunning was very good tonight, starting in place of Jacob deGrom. Shutout through 5 innings. Rangers could certainly not ask for any more. And the lefty takes over out there in Brock Burke. Check in on some of the other scores here in just a moment. So far in 10 games, Burke's gone 13 1/3 innings, 2.03 earned run average, 9 strikeouts to 3 walks, and a 240 batter's average against. But he hasn't been quite as effective as he was last year. He's still been good, don't get me wrong, but he's still trying to find just the right rhythm, if you will. He was fantastic all the way up until probably June was the first time we really saw him have some struggles last year. As we see the Astros have their lead trimmed a little bit by the Mariners, now 4-3 there. First pitch here by Burke, right on the inside corner, great pitch. 0-1. But Burks looks like he hopefully will settle into a little bit of a groove here in May. Drop that ERA just a little bit more. This one's lifted out into center. 3 or 4 steps back is Tavares, makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Bunch of quick outs to kind of end the last couple innings for Dunning. Part of the reason why he was able to get through 5. Most home runs in a career versus the Rangers franchise, Mike Trout sits 3rd on that list behind Reggie Jackson and Harmon Killebrew. Strike 1 right at the top of the zone on the inside corner. Great location on that one by Brock Burke. Just chef's kiss, perfect pitch. That one caught a little too much of the plate, but Trout grounds over to Duran, and nice play by Lowe to field that one. It was a low throw by Duran as he tried to catch Trout in, or tried to get Trout in time. Kind of handcuffed Lowe on the catch. Kind of had to field it like this at waist high, but was able to get the out, ranging to his right, throwing back left across his body. Or no, he caught it off to the side like this. Okay. It looked like his other hand was right there with it. But in either event, nice work by Ezekiel Duran. This one misses just outside. Lefty on lefty here to Ohtani. 0 for 2 so far today. He's hit the ball hard the first at-bat to Lowe and then grounded out in his second at-bat. This one's lifted foul down the third base line. Young is there, has room, and makes the catch. Nice work here by Brock Burke. Doesn't throw too many pitches. He will likely be out there again in the 7th. The man who just made that catch will be due up first, followed by Jonah Heim and Ezekiel Duran. Talked quite a bit about the Rangers lineup. The Angels deserve just about as much love right now for all the success they've had. They certainly didn't go out there and spend the money that the Rangers did this offseason, but they've still performed very well. Of course, they have probably 2 of the top 3 players in the entire game in Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout to work with, so got to give them a little bit of love there. But they've certainly made a little bit better effort, or a little bit better of a go of it this year than they have in years past. Trout and Ohtani literally the engines of this season for them. But losing their catcher now for the season, or for an extended period anyway, is really going to hurt for them. I think he's out for the season. Logan O'Hoppe, I can't remember how long he is out. But in either event, let me see if it's still on their screen. There it is, 4 to 6 months with a torn labrum. You can see the red pop up right there as to the headline there. The one injury that I just saw come across today was that the Astros are going to lose one of their starting pitchers, Luis Garcia, another injury to a Tommy John, and the Astros, who are going to have be a little bit thinner this year at the starting pitcher position than they have in years past after losing Justin Verlander. They no longer have Garrett Cole. They're going to need to rely on a lot of guys they haven't in the past. They're going to have to rely on Framber Valdez, somebody who's had the other older veterans to kind of take the pressure off of him in years past. They're going to be relying on him to lead that rotation. And Valdez hasn't gotten a lot of run support so far this year. That's why his record doesn't look great, but he's performed very well. Hunter Brown could be one of the rookies of the year this year. Hunter Brown finished second, I believe, in American League Rookie of the Month voting for March and April. But Josh Young of the Rangers, the guy up right now, took that home for the Texas Rangers. First pitch from Berea is fouled away, and it's 0-1. Young still trying to figure out things at the plate, but so far the results have been very good for the Rangers. They're very happy with the production he has. They see only improvement, bigger things coming for him. But so far so good. They're relying on him to be an RBI man in the middle of their lineup, and he's performed well in that role. This one is lifted foul once again, and it's 1-2. But as I mentioned, Hunter Brown is for the one of the starting pitchers for the Astros this year. They're going to rely on him to probably be their number 3 in their rotation, maybe their number 4. Lance McCullers, you'd think I believe is still there, but they're going to have to get some production without Luis Garcia now and keep the rest of their rotation healthy because they don't have a lot of margin for error like they've had in years past with that starting rotation. No Verlander there to backstop them, no Greinke. Of course, that doesn't mean they can't bring somebody in at the deadline, but An early season loss in that starting rotation is certainly going to hurt, and Garcia's probably going to miss most of next season as well as he recovers from Tommy John, and who knows how effective he'll be when he comes back. Usually when you get Tommy John, you're not great that first year back from injury, but that second year, you may be just as good, if not better than, after the surgery. This one's popped up into the air. Short center coming on is Trout, and making the catch for the first out of the inning. Jonah Heim due next. First pitch, strike call there. Batting from the left side now with the righty on the mound. 2 singles tonight for Heim. Marks the 8th game so far this season that he's had multiple hits in a game. He's been great. He's one of the top 5, 6 candidates, I'd say, for an MVP vote right now. Not saying he'll finish the season there, but that's how good he's been for the month of April. The 1-1 is fouled off. Jammed him a little bit back to the screen, and it's 1-2. This one misses up and away. Now 2-2, evening the count. Looks like the Suns are trying to stave off a 3-0 deficit in a series to the Nuggets. 15-point lead at halftime over the Nuggets. Swung on and missed. Jonah Heim goes down swinging for the second out of the inning. Kind of chased that one a little bit. Talked to the umpire for just a second just to make sure where that pitch was. And it'll be up to Ezekiel Duran to keep this one going for the Rangers here in the top of the 7th. Brewers look like they got a 4-2 lead right now on the Giants. Giants took a couple of games from the Astros recently. That one right at the top of the zone, inside corner, but does not get the call. 1-0. Pretty much goes back to that exact same spot. Gets a little bit further over the plate, though, and this one's called a strike. 1-1. That corner has not been called as much or as often as the outside corner. This one pretty much in the same spot. Fastball. This one's popped up right over first base, just into foul territory. And that one is squeezed by Drury. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Rangers on top 3-0. Rangers have left 10 on base, though. You got to wonder if they're going to start to regret that later in the game. Don't want to leave meat on the bone, if you will. Especially with the issues the Rangers have had in that bullpen. The Angels could easily come back here. They will have Rendon, Renfroe, and Ward due up. Rendon does have a base hit in the game, hitting .272. We should see Brock Burke out there once again. At least that's what I would do if I were the Rangers skipper, as effective as Burke is. I want to get some length out of him, and he's been very good so far this year. I want to try to shorten this game as much as possible for that late inning. That way, if I have to mix and match in that bullpen, if I have to go to Leclerc, I can pull him quickly if he starts to lose it. And I haven't burned all my other relievers that I could go to earlier. I mean, he's still on the roster. You're going to have to use him. You're going to have to see if he can work his way out of it. But he's certainly struggled with his control. Not sure I'd have him do it in a game you're winning, but he's still part of that A bullpen whenever they do have a lead. So we'll see what ends up happening. It looks like it will be Brock Burke. He's only thrown 6 pitches so far. Looks like the Mets got a much-needed win after getting swept by the Tigers. They got a 1-0 win over the Rockies. That was the issue I had with the the Mets this offseason. The offense was really the issue last year, and we shall see if they're able to get enough runs late in the season as well. Just looking at the bullpen usage right now on the screen over the last week or so, looks like Leclerc is one of the least used options out there over the last week, so maybe they do go to him to try to get him some work, see if he can work himself out of it. Last time out, though, he struggled with command. It's now 2-0 here on Rendon, here in the bottom of the 7th. Right at the top of the zone, outside corner. That's the corner that's been called. It's not the other corner. Again, they go to the outside corner. This one just off the corner, low and away. Swung on and missed by Rendon. Now 2-2. The set by Burke. And the pitch. This one's popped into the air. Lowe going back a couple of steps, makes the catch just in the outfield grass for the first out of the inning. Nice work there by Burke, battling back a little. Renfroe will be next. Has a lot of power in that bat. Don't necessarily want to give one up easily to him. See if he can stay out of the hot zones for Renfroe. Nice pitch there, just beneath the zone. Tapped off the end of the bat, foul down the first base line. 0-1. At home this year, Hunter Renfroe has a .386 average. That's the highest in all the American League. A little bit surprising when you consider that you have Ohtani in this same lineup, Trout. But no, it's Hunter Renfroe, and it's not just on the Angels team. It's out of all players in the American League when they're at home. So good on Hunter Renfroe. Good acquisition for the LA Angels. This one finds a hole. Duran unable to make a dive and stop it. And 1 out, 1 on now for the Angels. Renfroe on the hole, though, is hitting .256. Tells you maybe he's struggling quite a bit on the road. Perfectly placed base hit between Young and Duran. It'll be Ward due up next, the left fielder. Trying to redeem himself after losing that one in the lights from Marcus Semien earlier in the game, causing a run to score. Ball one there. The set by Burke. And the pitch. Tapped off the end of the bat again, foul down the first base line. 1-1. You'd think if the Rangers can get through this inning clean, they should pretty much have their bullpen set up however they want to use it in the 8th and 9th. This one's popped into the air. Going out is Semien. In is Garcia. Garcia calls Semien off and makes the catch. Nice work there by Garcia communicating that. Semien does cover quite a bit of range at that second base spot, but Garcia coming on has a much cleaner view of where that ball is going to go, with Semien going out and Garcia coming in. Good work by Garcia, who has time at center field, or in center field, so he knows how to communicate effectively with those middle infielders. Drury is up. He's 0 for 2 so far today. Burke misses by about a foot outside. Drury batting, or right-handed hitter here against the lefty Burke. The 1-0. Another one misses by about a foot, and it's quickly 2-0 with a runner on. Got to wonder if the bullpen's going to be getting going here just a little bit. Burke's only at 19 pitches, but he's already got 1 2/3 innings through. You don't want to get a hairy situation. Even though it is the bottom of the lineup, you still don't want to give up anything cheap. That one missed a little bit outside, but Drury offered at it. Swung hard and missed. 2-1. The 2-1. little bit of a jam shot. Simeon is able to range over and on the left field side of the bag, is able to make the catch on that soft line drive, and we are through 7. Nice work there by Brock Burke. Gives him 2 effective innings. Got to think that's it for him. He's only at about 20 pitches. He does have the ability to go probably to 30, 35 pitches in a relief outing, maybe a little bit more if they want to get some more length out of him. But I think 2 effective innings there would probably be it for him. Don't want to stretch him out too far. You are through 7. You do have enough options back there to where you should be able to turn it over in the 7th to either Hernandez, Smith, or Leclerc, and then one of those other 2 in the 9th, should this game remain at 3-0. But I'm sure the Rangers would love to add another run or 2 on there, especially with their bullpen issues that they've had over the last couple of weeks anyway. As you saw on the screen, the Sunday leadoff game on Peacock, we will have that game for you on Sunday at 10:35, Baltimore and Atlanta. We will have Baltimore and Atlanta again tomorrow night at 6:45, so make sure you join us. We'll have a little bit of a triple header on Sunday with that Baltimore-Atlanta game, followed by Houston and Seattle, and then in the nightcap, the finale of the Dodgers and Padres series. Monday for the Texas Rangers fans out there, we will have the Rangers and Mariners at 8:40. Mariners going up against the Houston Astros this weekend, so we'll see how that tough divisional matchup goes. Rangers and Mariners playing a lot of divisional baseball right now. Looks like Houston and the Angels play each other as well, but we might have that one for you on Tuesday. We'll have the day off for you guys on Wednesday, and then Thursday we'll have another one for you. Probably going to be either the Giants and Diamondbacks, depending on how their next week goes as far as record-wise. Otherwise, it'll probably be the Rangers and Oakland at that 8:40 game. And then we'll have all 3 games of that Padres-Dodgers series next weekend, so make sure you join us for that. Leody Taveras leading off here, batting from the left side now against Berea. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Has a walk and scored a run, struck out as well. Played a good center field. He's played well today. Nice base hit into left field, couple hops in front of Ward. And Taveras is on. Again, that speed really working to his advantage. We'll see if they use it here. Has raised his average from 241 entering the game to 267. You remember his final game before he was called up to the majors? He hit a grand slam and a double. Really struggled in his first 6 games, though, at the major league level this year, and has certainly started to turn it on. Jankowski grabs the bat and is off the bench here for Bubba Thompson. Now with the lefty out of the game. Little tapper here, and to the third baseman. Rendon throws it into right field. That's going to go as an error. Taveras speeds around second and goes to third. Not a good play by Rendon. It looked like it was off the tip of the glove of Rengifo. Rengifo is not a tall guy by any stretch of the imagination, but just a poor throw there by Rendon. It would have been in plenty of time to get Taveras, but he just airmailed that one. Looking at the play again, it may have ticked off the glove, but not by much. Easily getting the third is Taveras. And now with Jankowski on first, you could see him possibly get a stolen base here and avoid the double play. I'm sure the Angels would gladly trade a run for a double play here. Simeon is up 2 for 3. A walk in the game. Also had scored a run. Had an RBI as well. Ground rule double. And more Travis Jankowski magic for the Rangers. Whew. Who would have thought coming into the season he would have such... Oh, excuse me, check swing. This will get Jankowski to second. But nice play there by Neto. Gets Simeon retired at first. Taveras thought about going home, but immediately scampered back when he saw how slow that ball was rolling. He did not want to be caught out at home. In either event now, runners at second and third with only 1 away. And it'll be Robbie Grossman. He struck out twice. Has a base hit and a walk in the game. Hard hit ball right to the first baseman. Tavares goes home. Is he safe? No, they say he is out, but this is going to, the runner is going to be safe at first. Jankowski moves up. We'll see if there's a review. Drury's staring into the dugout of the Rangers, as if to say, try it. Nice play either way on the stop there by Drury. And yeah, Tavares was out. I don't think he touched the plate anyway. Wow. Well, here's hoping that he does, Mr. Hank. Good fielding, though, by Brendan Drury there at first base, and even better fielding just to make the catch and get the tag down for Tice. Again, he is not their everyday catcher. That is Logan O'Hoppe, and he is out for probably the remainder of the season, you'd imagine. Nathaniel Lowe, first pitch swinging, grounds this one through the right side. And the Rangers extend their lead 4-0. That base hit was needed by Lowe. Just off the end of the bat, trickles through the infield. And even when you're not, or when you don't have everything going just right, you get the job done. Nice work there by Lowe. He is now 1 for 5 on the day. Runners now on first and second. Adolis Garcia due up next. Looks like the game day app or game day screen is frozen just a moment as they try to catch up on all the action. Ball one here to Garcia. Hard hit into the air, deep left field. Is there going to be room for Ward? And it looks like there is. Remember, Marine Air is just forcing that ball down today. In Arlington, I think that one's gone by at least 10 rows, but it looks like he got just underneath it enough for that Marine Air to knock it down. But neither event, Lowe knocks across the run. Rangers extend their lead 4-0. I agree. O'Hoppe looked pretty darn good early. His offense was significantly better. He was leading the Angels as well. See if we refresh the screen if they get it fixed. Nope, it's still trying to catch up. It's a game day thing. Alrighty, so as I mentioned, Brock Burke pitched 2 scoreless innings. Dane Dunning 5 scoreless. Probably going to see a bullpen change here. If I had to guess, we'll see Hernandez out of the bullpen. He's usually the 8th or first setup guy they go to out of that bullpen, whether it be the 7th or the 8th inning. But we shall see. As you see some scores kind of roll by. White Sox beat the Reds 5-4. They really need to keep winning games right now just to try to claw their way back in that division. Mentioned the contentious game there earlier between the Rays and Yankees, where I'm pretty sure Albert Abreu, the Yankees pitcher, should have been ejected, not the manager of the Rays, Kevin Cash. Red Sox, just the streak they've been on lately, just amazing. 5-3 right now, they lead Philadelphia in the bottom of the 9th. Mets get a much-needed win, 1-0 over the Rockies. Twins get back in the winning ways, 2-0 over the Guardians. Guardians look like they're slipping a little bit now. We saw the Orioles earlier defeat the Braves 9-4. Looks like we're coming back from commercial break right now. Looks like the A's have finally managed to win their 7th game of the year, 12-8 over the Royals. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Hank. It's been a long one. Looks like they had Burke come out for the start of the inning. And then they're going to go with... I think they're waiting for a pinch hitter to be announced. Bochy had some miscommunication there in between innings, it looked like. Between the home plate umpire. Curious. Interesting. Did they go with a pinch hitter, perhaps? Tice was going to be the hitter. Their options on the bench: Brett Phillips, Jake Lamb, Gio Urshela, and Wallach. Probably Urshela would be the guy I would imagine they're going to go to. Especially since you don't want to have Lamb go up against Burke. Either Wallach or Urshela, or either one. And it looks like it will be Jonathan Hernandez for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 8th. It's like Philadelphia lost Game 3. Celtics avenged their Game 1 loss. Or they just changed their mind about the decision about who they were wanting to go with. Still got Tice on the screen. Nope, looks like they do have a pinch hitter. It is Gio Urshela. That one misses well inside from Hernandez. 1-0. Astros leading after 7, 4-3. That one just missed on the inside corner. That pitch on the opposite side of the plate would have worked. 2-0. The one issue this bullpen has had is walks. And another one right on the inside corner. This time he gets the call. Urshela slumps in defeat on that one. Hernandez, 12 innings pitched, has 14 strikeouts and 5 walks. This one misses inside by about 8 inches, but somehow Urshela makes contact with it and fouls it off. 2-2. The set, and that one misses about 2 or 3 inches north of the zone. Not all that close, but Urshela able to lay off. He has a very good eye at the plate. 3-2 full count. The set and the pitch. Nice pitch right down the middle, but even better hitting there by Gio Urshela. He gets the job done. That one falls in front of Taveras. Fields flips back in before he can advance to second. And the Angels have the lead runner on. At least it's not a walk if you're Rangers fans. That's about all I got for you. I mean, more bullpen issues. Hopefully this is pretty much the only hit of the inning if you're a Rangers fan. For the Angels, you at least got rid of the first 2 pitches of the Rangers who have really held you down. Late inning is where you have your issues if you're the Rangers, so now's your opportunity to strike if you're the Angels. That one misses about 3 foot off the plate. Up and away, 1-0. Hernandez is not usually the culprit of the lack of command in that bullpen, at least not so far this season. This one's rolled over to second. Simeon just takes the easy play to first. Looks like they could have gotten the double play, honestly. I don't know why Simeon just took the easy out at first. I mean, Urshela runs well, but not great. He looked like he had an easy angle at the throw. Maybe he thought Urshela was in the path of his throw and wouldn't have made it easy to complete the play, I guess. But an opportunity missed there to get another out. In either event, it'll be Neto due up next. Strike one at the top of the zone. 0-1. Neto 0 for 2 on the day. Does have a walk. Hitting .254. Urshela, though, now in scoring position. This one's a hard hit ball into left. But again, Marine Air is just keeping that ball down. That was a hard hit ball. That looked like it literally was just knocked down. It probably would have been a home run in the ballpark in Arlington, but mm, mm, mm. 2 away now. Just looking at the wind speed right now, they got a little map on the screen. Just kind of swirls right over second base and just shoves everything down as you get out towards left field. That one misses north of the zone, about 3 inches to Mike Trout. He's 1 for 3, reached on a single back in the third. Ohtani waits on deck. Last thing you want to do is see him out there. And that one, that's been called a strike all day long, not called a strike there. That one hurts a little bit if you're a Rangers fan. That one tickled the corner too. We've seen worse pitches than that one be called strikes all day. Now 2-0 here. Heim goes out there for a visit to just kind of go over the game plan here with Heim. Tell him, hey, not the worst thing if you nibble at the corners. You do have Ohtani, but coming up next. But just don't throw one right down the middle. Trout is still one of the top 3 players in the game. Very good hitter. Don't want to miss here. Opportunity here in the bottom of the 8th for the Angels. Hard. That was a hard hit ball. Right into the Angels dugout, 2-1. Angels are 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position tonight. They have not had many opportunities. Rangers, meanwhile, have had their fair share. They've struggled in their opportunities, though, unlike their season average of 340 in those spots. This one's going to get down in front of Garcia. Will they chance it? Garcia goes home and doesn't put a good throw on it for some reason. Just kind of whipped it into the home, but usually you can count on Adolis Garcia to make a good strong throw home. That one hopped a couple of times, just kind of whippy kind of a throw. A little bit mystifying on that throw. He does have a cannon of an arm and has thrown out his fair share of runners before, but in either event, now a 4-1 ball game with Ohtani coming up. Trout still at first base after that throw went into home. I wonder if he threw it in kind of a whippy kind of a throw just to keep Trout from advancing on the throw. In either event, hard hit foul ball off the arm of Jonah Heim. He's going to need a moment. 0-1. Looks like they're working Ohtani away today. The set, and another one bounced foul. 0-2. Ohtani does struggle the last couple of years against the Rangers. Only a 768 OPS. That's still decent, but as far as the rest of the league, that's by far the lowest against any other team. Will Smith is indeed loosening out there. Should this inning start to get a little hairier for the Rangers. The 1-2. Tapped off the end of the bat to Simeon. Flips on to first. This time makes the correct play to first base, and that's the end of the inning. But the Angels do get rid of the shutout. It is now a 4-1 ball game as we go to the 9th. It'll be Young, Heim, and Duran for the Rangers in the 9th. And we'll see what the Rangers decide to do from a pitching standpoint. It is a save situation for whoever they bring out. And the question is, who do they have confidence in can get the final 3 outs of the game? I think this will be a question going forward for at least the next month. I still think they need to bring in a closer of some type before the end of the season, whether that means they pony up and go after a pure rental in a guy like Aroldis Chapman from the Kansas City Royals, whether they go after Kenley Jansen, who has 1 year left after this with the Boston Red Sox, if the Red Sox fall out of it by the deadline, whether they go after Liam Hendricks from the Chicago White Sox, if he's healthy enough and effective enough to be traded by the deadline. There's a lot of closer options out there. Maybe they go after a guy that's younger and cheaper like Emmanuel Clase, although he's having a little bit of a down year as far as the strikeout is concerned. You look at the San Francisco Giants, maybe they go after a guy like Doval. There's going to be some closer options out there for the Rangers. If the Pirates fall out of it, maybe they could go after a guy like Bednar. There's a lot of opportunity out there to improve this bullpen, and I think the Rangers will address it. It's just a matter of how they decide to do it. Do they go the cheap way, the waiver wire, promote from within, or do they go get a nice closer option that's proven at the back end of the bullpen? With a guy like Mike Maddox and Bruce Bochy handling the pitching staff, I have confidence they could do it either way, but I think their preference as far as Bochy and Maddox is concerned is to bring in a veteran to fill that role that they can go to. You saw that's why they got Will Smith on the cheap. He has been a very effective reliever for them. Ian Kennedy, another guy on the cheap that has history in Texas, they brought him in, and he's been very effective in the innings he's been out there for. Now, do I think Ian Kennedy will finish the season with the Rangers? No, I just don't think his arm will hold up for the whole season. I don't think he's as effective as some of his numbers have proven to be so far this year, but I don't think it's truly reliable. Josh Young falls behind 1-1. Or falls behind 0-1 as that one now misses and evens the count at 1-1. Appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you drop us a like. It really does help us out. Got about 18 of you guys with us right now. Say hello in the chat if you'd like. Ask us a question. Send us a super chat if you'd like. Got that feature enabled now. If you want to support the channel. Would like to do this pretty much every night eventually. And be able to provide you guys with a lot more content. Eventually do this full time. That's the goal anyway. That one finds its way in there. Letter high. And it's now 1-2. Or 2-2, excuse me. The pitch. Lifted foul. Will it stay in play? Drury over for a look, and that one about 2 rows back. Almost able to make a play on it was Drury. And we'll do it again. For those of you who are Texas Rangers fans, I know a lot of you guys are also watching the Dallas Stars playoff series. They even the series against the Kraken 1-1 now. Joe Pavelski scored 4 goals in Game 1, even though they lost. But they answered back to even it up. Nice hard hit ball into right. Will this one get down? Nice play by Renfroe. Sliding catch. He's a very reliable right fielder. And Young is retired. He is now 0 for 5 on the day. 0 for 4, excuse me, with a walk. That ball just didn't slice quite enough to get down for a hit. It'll be Jonah Heim next. He's 2 for 4 with a strikeout. He struck out in his last at-bat anyway. Takes ball 1. Up and away. Berea still working out there. It's only been 2 pitchers today for the Angels. Tyler Anderson started. Berea came on since then. We also had Jonah Heim get his first stolen base here today. Nice, healthy swing at that one by Jonah Heim. Unable to make contact. 1-1. The set and the pitch. Hard hit right to the first baseman Drury on a hop. Flips to Berea. Leaps on, makes the catch, and tags the base with his foot. Nice play there by Berea and Drury for the second out of the inning. Berea up to 56 pitches right now. He's the long man out of this bullpen. As we mentioned, former starter for them. Just a nice piece of work there by both sides. Able to get the job done. Drury, not a first baseman by trade, but kind of filling in over there pretty much every day now for them. Duran 0 for 3 in the game. Was hit by a pitch as well. Scored a run. Falls behind 0-1 here. The set and the pitch. This one's hit hard but high in the air. Again, this marine air is not going to do kind things to that baseball. Knocks it down and Ward makes the catch, this time able to keep his eyes on it once again. And we go to the bottom of the ninth. Angels will have their final opportunity here. 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Rangers. 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Angels. And we'll see who the Rangers turn to out of that bullpen in the ninth. You can see how the pitching numbers here work for the Rangers. 5 innings, 2 hit ball, only 1 walk in the game for Dunning. Lowered his ERA down to 1.42. Same thing for Brock Burke. 2 innings, 1 hit, no walks, no strikeouts. 1.76 ERA, entered the game with a 2.04 if I remember correctly. Hernandez gave up the run, raised his ERA to 3.46, but he's pitched well so far this season, with the exception of like 2 outings if I remember correctly. Gave up a couple of hits in that last inning anyway. But overall, just a good pitching performance. Nothing like what you'd see with a Jacob deGrom start. The strikeouts are very low, only 3. But the Rangers have done one thing very well today, and that's only give up the 1 walk. So we'll see who they turn to here in the ninth, if that's going to continue the trend. It's one thing Mike Maddox and Bruce Bochy do not tolerate is free bases. So if you're going to start walking guys, you're going to get the hook fairly quickly. We saw that the only guy that really got the leash earlier this season when he was giving up a bunch of walks was John Gray in his start against the Oakland A's, and that was primarily because they wanted to save 2 long relievers just in case Jacob deGrom wasn't able to make his start after being pulled in the Kansas City Royals game. They wanted to have Dunning and Ragans available and Burke just in case, and so they kind of held back from bringing somebody in when they could have probably saved John Gray an inning of work out of that game. Gray struggled for a couple of starts, but looks like he's kind of righted the ship somewhat in his last start. Looks like he's starting to put a little bit better performance, more consistent first inning through 6th inning than what we saw against that Oakland A's team. Looks like the Rangers are going to go with Will Smith out of that bullpen. He was loosening in that 8th inning just in case Hernandez got into trouble. In 11 games, has thrown 10 2/3 innings, a 1.69 earned run average, 12 strikeouts to 4 walks, and a 162 batting average against. Those numbers are pretty darn good, but remember he did give up that game-winning home run against the Oakland A's team, so we'll see if he continues his effective play so far this season, or if here again in the 9th inning the Rangers struggle with that bullpen. Not surprised it's Smith instead of Leclerc, though. Big test here for the Rangers, see if they can lock it down. It'll be Rendon first. He's 1 for 3. Strike on the outside corner. Nice pitch. That corner's been called somewhat consistently. Called a lot more earlier in the game, but the last 2 or 3 innings not quite as frequently. This one very low. 1-1. Had that single back in the 4th. Give up games against the Reds, I think. Okay. I'll put it this way. The entire bullpen did not perform well against the Reds. Period. But I think Jose Leclerc needs to go down to the minors if he has an option left on his contract. I haven't had a chance to look yet to see if he even has an option or not, but that would be my plan of attack if I'm the Rangers. Let him go down, sort out his command issues. Nice base hit there by Rendon. Serves that one in between 1st and 2nd. And Garcia fields it, tosses it in. Rendon is on for the 2nd time today. It'll be Hunter Renfroe next, followed by Ward. Renfroe had a base hit his last at bat in the 7th. This one finishes below the belt, or below the knees anyway. 1-0. The French Prince. I do like that one. I mean, Leclerc, French, yeah. A little bit, I guess you could say, of a young Will Smith. If I guess he had to cast one of the Rangers as a young Will Smith, he might be the guy. Duran might be another guy you could cast in that role. Meh. But he doesn't have the name that fits the French prince. Fouled off, and it's 1-1. Off speed, lifted into center. This one's going to hang up enough for Taveras to get in there and make the catch. This time the Marine Air didn't quite knock it down quite fast enough. Taveras, that speed, able to get there in time. And we have one out here in the bottom of the ninth. Rangers would love nothing more than to see a double play here. Ward 0 for 3 has a walk or has a strikeout in the game. Rangers 2 outs away from securing their 19th win of the season. Trying to get back in their winning ways after coughing up one against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres extend their lead against the Dodgers 5-2 in the bottom of the 8th there. Again, make sure you join us tomorrow night as we will have the Baltimore Orioles and Atlanta Braves for you at 6:45. And then our triple header on Sunday. This one's popped up down the first base line. Over for a look is Simeon. And that one just gets into the seats. And I mean one row. Just too far for them to get over there. You're talking about Will Smith? Oh, I thought you were talking about Jose Leclerc. Okay. The 0-2 tapped foul back to the screen. Remains 0-2 here. Looks like the Mariners have tied it late against the Astros 4-4. That would be just what the doctor ordered. Let them go to extras and sort it out. Burn those bullpens if you're a Rangers fan. The 0-2 in the dirt. Ball 1. The 1-2 here by Smith. This one's tapped out to second. Duran flips to second, on to first. Not in time. Ward is safe there. But either way, it's now 2 away here in the bottom of the ninth. Brandon Drury is the final hope here for the LA Angels. Welcome in, Terrence. Appreciate you for joining us. Again, we have that, as I was saying earlier, we have the Baltimore Orioles and Atlanta Braves tomorrow night, 6:45. And then depending on what time that Lakers and Warriors game goes, we might get that one for you as well. I think it's tomorrow is when they play. And then we'll have our triple header on Sunday. Baltimore and Atlanta at the 10:35 start. Houston and Seattle at 3. And then LA, Dodgers, and the Padres on Sunday Night Baseball. Nice curveball right at the bottom of the zone. Does not get the call. 1-0. Appreciate you guys joining us here tonight. The next Rangers game we'll have is going to be Monday the 8th against Seattle. This one's a hard hit ball into center. Taveras is over to cut it off before it gets to the wall. Flips on to third, keeping the runners at first and second. And now it will be Wallach coming in as the next hitter. Remember, they burned their catcher Tice earlier in the game and had Urshela pinch hit for him. He got a base hit his last time and scored that run for the Angels. Now it'll be up to Wallach to get something done here. Stands in at the right side. He's had a decent start to the season offensively. Swing and a miss. 0-1. Looks like he's very effective with that curveball here today. Just a matter of getting that call from behind the plate. Chad Wallach in 8 games, hitting .269, has a couple of home runs. So he does have home run power. Be very careful here. Last thing you want to do is leave one out over the plate, and then you got a tie ball game. So a little bit more stressful than I think Rangers fans would have liked. The 1-1 here by Smith. Oh, wow. High fly ball, deep right field, off the base of the wall. Tavares makes the play, gets it in, but Wallach gets the job done. It's now a 4-3 ball game, and Wallach stands out there at second base. And more bullpen issues for the Rangers. Say it with me, Rangers fans. Rangers bullpen issues. Period. They coughed up one on Wednesday against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Looks like they're on the verge of coughing up one here. That one did not miss a home run by much. Rengifo, a very good contact hitter. All you need is the runner to score, and you got a whole new ball game. I don't think you'll get a pinch runner here for Wallach because he's their backup catcher in the game already. So it will be a little bit slower of a runner. So I guess that works in your favor. That's Wallach's first double of the season. Welcome in, Johnny. Your Angels putting up a rally here in the ninth. 4-3 now. Rengifo bats from the right side now against the lefty Smith, hitting .280 with runners in scoring position this year with a home run and 12 RBIs. Really anxious, though, as that one bounced in the dirt, swinging and a miss. 0-1. Smith has certainly found the strike zone, but he's also found some trouble here in the ninth. 18 pitches, 13 strikes, hasn't given up a walk, but given up some hard contact. Winning run is indeed at the plate, Hank. Another one in the dirt. See if you can get him to chase, but that one bounced a little bit further out in front. 1-1. You think it's going to either be a tie or an Angel win? Well, you mean here in the ninth, I'd imagine. The 1-1. That curveball again finds the zone. He's worked really well with that curveball today. 1-2. Angels down to their final strike. If Angels do come back and win this game, they would tie the Rangers for the division lead. This one's tapped foul. Remains 1-2. Looks like they're pitching him low and in, not giving him a chance to get something to drive into the outfield. Smith shakes him off. The 1-2 pitch. Hard hit into center. And it gets down in front of Tavares. Tavares throws hard to home. The runner is safe, and it's a brand new ball game. Wow. Say it with me. Rangers bullpen issues again. 7 shutout innings for the Rangers. 5 of them by Dane Dunning in a spot start in place of Jacob deGrom. You get 2 scoreless innings from Brock Burke. Hernandez gives up 1, and then Will Smith just unravels here with 2 outs. Wow. All 3 runs coming in after the second out was recorded. In either event, Smith up to 22 pitches right now. Neto is 0 for 3 in the game. Mike Trout waiting on deck. That one's called a ball. That's been called a strike earlier in the game. It wasn't called for a few innings. And at the beginning of this inning, it was being called again. But I guess the intermittentness of that one being called a strike continues. Angels happy with that one for now. Neto has walked and reached on an error. Looks like we got a pitch comm error, or a communication issue. Now with the crowd being a little bit louder, a little tougher to hear it. Dunning's best performance, all for nothing. He's had a couple of really good outings so far this year, Terrence. This one, though, is certainly up there. But Rangers going to have to pull it out in extras if they keep the Angels off the board the rest of this 9th inning. Pickoff attempt. Looks like the Angels, if this goes to another inning, or goes to the 10th anyway, they have their bullpen ready to go. Looks like Carlos Estevez is going to come on for the 10th. Berea looks like his night is done. Nice curveball again over for a strike. I'm curious why he's not throwing that a little bit more often. He's been effective with it. 1-1 now on Neto. Looks like the bullpen is going for the Rangers as well. If I had to guess, it looked like Cole Ragans. This one's flied out to right. Garcia there in plenty of time. And to the 10th we go. Extra innings. Sorry, Hank. You have to get some sleep. I hear you. You have a good one, Hank. Appreciate you guys joining us here tonight. We have extra innings baseball after the Angels come back in the 9th from a 3-run deficit to tie it at 4. And to the 10th we go. It'll be Taveras, Jankowski, and Simeon for the Rangers. 2 good contact hitters who are having decent days at the plate. Jankowski reached on the error, I believe, in the last half inning. Came around to score. Or in the 8th anyway. Taveras is 2 for 3 with a walk today. But all that good pitching today for the Rangers just gone like that because of a bad bullpen. I want to hear the comments after the game for Mike Maddox and Bruce Bochy as to why they decided to go with Will Smith. I can probably tell you right now it's because of the Leclerc hasn't been able to stay consistently in the strike zone. But the Rangers will have the Manfred man out there, if you will. Ezekiel Duran will be the runner at second base. Welcome in, Eric. Appreciate you for joining us. Make sure you join us. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well. It really does help us out. Again, we'll have Baltimore and Atlanta for you guys tomorrow evening. And if the game ends soon enough, we'll do Houston and Seattle. Sunday we'll have a tripleheader, Baltimore and Atlanta early, Houston, Seattle at 3, and Sunday Night Baseball at 6, the Dodgers and the Padres. We'll do the Rangers in Seattle on Monday, and then probably Houston and the Angels on Tuesday. Again, Angels trying to tie the Rangers for the division lead. A win here does that. Looks like after surrendering the lead in the bottom of the 8th, the Astros have come right back out and put a couple of runs on in the 9th, 6-4. They lead it in the top of the 9th. Dunning was pitching lights out. Estevez comes on, 15 games, 15 and 2/3 innings, has a 1.15 ERA this year, 20 strikeouts to 6 walks. He's been used pretty frequently and very effectively so far for the Angels. Now that this game is back tied, you can see why they're going to their A bullpen a little bit. As I said, Duran is out there at second. Oh, wow. Up and into Taveras, just getting out of the way just in time. Taveras there. Taveras did square around to bunt, but was just able to get out of there in the nick of time. Just missed his bat as well. The 1-0. Inside, now 2-0. Tavares has played well. Now he's got a chance to try to drive a ball. I wonder if they still have him square around or if they just try to see what they can get. The 2-0. On the outside, or just on the outside corner, fouled back to the screen, 2-1. Need a double or something? I think a base hit is all we need right now if you're a Rangers fan. If you're an Angels fan, all you want to see is a strikeout pop out, something like that. You want to try to keep it 4-4. A ground out would be the worst thing because that advances the runner. This one's fouled back to the screen again. It's now 2-2. Rangers have had difficulty the last 2 years as far as getting wins in extra innings. As you might expect, they've been one of baseball's worst teams the last 2 years. Last 4 years, really. This one well inside. Now 3-2. Curious to see if they send Duran here or not. They have sent the runner on 3-2 counts when the bases are, or when there is not 2 outs anyway. So we'll see if they decide to chance it. This one on the outside corner, just a perfect pitch by Estevez. I think Leody Tavares thought it was going to be something off speed and just perfectly dotted up there by Estevez. Perfect pitch. That's exactly what you want if you're an Angels fan. Now a ground ball, even if it advances the runner, still keeps him at third base with 2 outs now. And even if you get another ground ball, that ends the inning. So Jankowski is next. That pitch misses low and in. 1-0. This season with runners in scoring position, he's hitting .375, couple of doubles, 7 RBIs, 5 strikeouts, and a couple of walks. This one's fouled into the seats down the third base line, 1-1. As I said, Rangers trying to keep that magic going with Travis Jankowski. In games in which he plays, Rangers have a very strong win percentage. Nice fastball, though. Right at the top of the zone. Jankowski unable to keep up with that one. Had a good swing on it, but just was underneath it and late. The 1-2, he's choked up on the bat a little bit. Right on the inside corner, and again, Estevez just dots the corner. A little bit demonstrative out of there. And saw somebody run out of the dugout for a second. I don't think it's a pitching change. As good as Estevez has been here to start the inning. Nope, it is going to be a mound visit, though. Marcus Semien 2 for 4, has a walk and RBI. We'll see how they want to attack Marcus Semien. Do they want to walk him to face Grossman? They do have first base open. Not sure what they're saying now. Looks like they are going to let Semien hit here. Interesting decision. Not sure if I make the same decision if I'm the manager of the Angels. Allen misses outside. Semien's a good fastball hitter, and that's what Estevez has been throwing. Welcome Metallo. Off speed. Gets Semien out in front. 1-1. Got 36 of you guys with us. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. We'll cover the Rangers again on Monday, the Angels on Tuesday. That one just inside. That corner has not been called much today at all. 2-1. The other corner on the other hand has been, at least in the beginning of the game it was every time, intermittently since the 6th. Allen misses beneath the zone. 3-1. Looks like they're pitching carefully here to Semien just to see if he misses. Doesn't look like they're going to give him anything real to hit here. Can't blame him. And the 3-1, about a foot above the zone. And the runners are now at first and second. It will be Robbie Grossman up for the Rangers. 1 for 4, a walk, a couple of strikeouts. He has had a flair for the dramatic so far this season. A couple of go-ahead home runs so far this year. Rangers looking for something similar here. First pitch, again, dotted up on the inside corner. 99 miles an hour on the inside corner. That's the corner you want to go to if you're an Angels pitcher right now. That's the one that's been called strikes. This one misses location a little bit. A little further inside, and that one is not a strike. Going to be 1-1. You're predicting a homer? I don't know. It's a tough spot here. The 1-1. Nice pitch. Kind of a backdoor slider, if you will, right on the outside corner, 1-2. If you're a Ranger fan, all you want to see here is contact. Base hit gives you the lead. The pitch. This one's tapped to short, going the long way to first and making the play is Neto. So exactly what you want there. A perfect inning for the Angels. I mean, just a great job pitching by Estevez. Gets the strikeout back-to-back there. And we go to the bottom of the 10th. Welcome in, I'm just saying. Welcome back, Jason. Been a while since I've seen you. You're predicting a riot? Well, I don't know, for a game in early May, I don't know if there'll be a riot, but Rangers fans certainly are going to have their fair share of comments for how this bullpen is going. It has not been pretty this year for the Rangers bullpen. Coughed up a game against the Oakland A's, coughed up all 3 against the Reds, coughed up another one against the Diamondbacks, coughed up this one against the Angels here to start the series. Just, I would agree with you, just saying. I mean, just looking at where we are in the game, I mean, they're going to have a runner in scoring position already. They've got Trout, Ohtani, and Rendon coming up. I mean, this is it for the Angels. They should win it right here. It's going to be a tough spot for whoever the Rangers pull out of the bullpen, even if they have one of their best relievers right now, which almost all of them have already been used. Appreciate it, Jason. Concentrating on letting your Clippers let you down. Well, your Clippers need to get it right at some point. I mean, for all the hoopla about bringing in Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin, and now the new iteration with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, Norman Powell, Russell Westbrook, all that group, and still no title. They need to fix something there. All right, to the bottom of the 10th, here we go. We'll see who the Rangers pull out of that bullpen. Welcome in, Justin. Looks like they're going to intentionally walk Mike Trout to give them a double play opportunity. Instead of having to face both Trout and Ohtani, who could both beat you, why not just face one, I guess is the thinking there. Plus, with Smith on the mound, you got a lefty on lefty against Ohtani. So I guess that's the best way to go. I would probably agree if I was managing the Rangers. It's kind of a no-win situation with Trout and Ohtani coming up with Neto with good speed out there at second. Ohtani's been very aggressive earlier in the count, so you may want to go off speed. And that's what they do. Foul down the first base line and towards the dugout. 0-1. Ohtani, for everything here, has only gotten one career walk-off hit. That's kind of surprising. Angels fans would love to see another one. He's 0 for 4, though, on the day. This one's tapped to second. Simeon on to second, and on the transfer, Duran couldn't make the play, but the double play is still in order here for the Rangers. That's the important part. Runner does advance to third, 90 feet away. Another fielder's choice here. It looks like we're going to have a pitching change as Smith gets the job sort of done. Gets the ground ball. Not sure if Ohtani would have been out anyway at first base. It would have been close. Looks like Duran had to look that ball in there a little bit more than I think he would have liked and lost the grip on it as he tried to quickly whirl to get the out at first. But in either event, looks like it's going to be Josh Spores who's coughed up so many games against the Angels. Ugh. If you're a Rangers fan, that's the white flag if I've ever seen one. I mean, he is a good strikeout pitcher. He did come from the LA Dodgers system, so he's familiar with the area. So maybe he's comfortable in the environment, but he's coughed up games so many times in years past to the LA Angels specifically. Angels fans, I think you're going to get your wish. Looks like they're going to win this one. Rendon's had a good day at the plate, 2 for 4. He's going to be the first man up. And then Renfroe, who's got a base hit in the 7th, their highest average at home according to Bally Sports anyway, highest average at home for any hitter in the American League. This is certainly your opportunity. If you're a Rangers fan, I guess you're hoping for a strikeout here or a double play. Spores, though, is more of a fly ball pitcher. I would say you're hoping for more of a strikeout if you're a Ranger fan. Bunt, does that work anymore? Not in this situation, obviously. I think you're looking for a base hit or a fly ball, sacrifice fly, something to the outfield. But bunts do still work, but people do it so infrequently, there's very few people who are good at it anymore. There's a few players now with the bases being a little larger, pitch clock and all that kind of a thing, and the shift rules that may go back to trying to bunt. So you won't see guys like Billy Hamilton, for instance, but you're going to see guys out there like Cedric Mullins who could get the bunt down. Leody Tavares of the Rangers could get the bunt down. Basically, think of the speedy guy on whichever team you're a fan of, and that's the guy you want to at least give some practice to. Now, the last couple of years, that kind of went away from the game. I think we'll see a little bit more of that over the next few days. But appreciate you guys joining us. 6 games so far for Josh Spores, 9 2/3. 2 of the 3 runners he's inherited have scored, though, and that's the worrisome part here. All you need is the runner from third base to get in if you're an Angels fan. He's worked to a 3.72 ERA, 12 strikeouts, 3 walks, 194 batting average against. First pitch goes back to the screen, and that's the walk-off wild pitch. Just wow. I mean, Spores is wild, but that wasn't that wild. Heim should have blocked that one, and I think he knows it. Walk-off, Angels celebrate on the field. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Rangers finding new ways to lose games with that bullpen at this point. And they tie the Rangers right now for the division lead. Just off the tip of the glove and back to the screen. I'm not sure if that's going to go as a wild pitch or a pass ball. I'd probably go pass ball. But wow. Oh my goodness. Just an ugly final couple of innings for the Rangers. Holy smokes. I mean, it's a game in May, but this bullpen issue is now a serious problem for the Rangers, and it needs to be nipped in the bud immediately. I want to see what Bruce Bochy has to say after the game. I'm sure we're going to see something to the effect of, well, it's 1 of 162. We've seen this before from the Rangers. We'll see how they regroup. They're effective. We didn't have issues with the walk this time. They were able to string together some hits, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, come on, man. At some point, you have to solve this bullpen problem. Just not a good performance today from that Rangers bullpen in the late innings. Will Smith again gets the loss here. I've seen both of his losses now, one of them live in person. Appreciate you guys joining us, but wow, holy smokes. Rangers cough up a game they should have had easily in the bag anyway. A game that Jacob deGrom was scheduled to have started, but of course he's on the injured list. But I mean, Dane Dunning pitches great. Brock Burke pitches great. Angels do a nice job of stringing together some hits in the 8th and 9th. And then, of course, in the 10th. I mean, once you get to the Rangers unable to score once again in extra innings, which has been a problem for the last 3 years now for the Rangers. They just can't score even with that runner already starting on second. But come on, man. Well, I mean, there's teams that have bullpen problems, and then there are teams that have really solid bullpens. But appreciate you guys joining us. I mean, there are teams out there that have some guys that they can go to count on. The Angels have a guy right here, Carlos Estevez. He's over 16 games now this year, and he's got a 1.08 ERA. The Rangers don't really have a guy like that in their bullpen outside of their long relievers. And they pitched great. The long relievers did. Dunning, normally a long reliever, pitched great. Brock Burke did as well. And then those late inning guys just continue to struggle. But we will be back tomorrow live. Appreciate you guys joining us. We will be live at 6:45, Baltimore and Atlanta. And then Sunday, we will have the Baltimore-Atlanta game at 10:35. the Houston-Seattle game at 3, the Sunday night baseball game, the Dodgers and Padres at 6. Monday, Rangers fans will have that one for you at 8:40. And then I know we got a lot of Angels fans out there. We will have the Houston Astros versus the LA Angels, 8:38 on Tuesday. So make sure you join us then. Appreciate you guys joining us. Just to kind of recap the game, Rangers kind of just dominated the game for the most part up until probably about the 7th, 8th inning. Just great dominant pitching performance by both Dane Dunning and Brock Burke. Offensively, the Rangers had lots of opportunities to score more runs. They just couldn't get more runs across the plate. They left some meat on the bone offensively. And then the one issue that they've really had, besides the very end of that roster as far as the offensive performances, is the bullpen. This is now 6 games in 2 weeks that they've blown in the game. And so you're looking at a team that could have one of the best records in all of baseball, close to the Tampa Bay Rays. Now you got a tie for the division crown with the LA Angels. So we'll see how things go for the Rangers going forward, but they need to address that bullpen and immediately. For the Angels, great comeback win. Not a great performance by your starter, Tyler Anderson, but good as far as being able to get through tough situations, come through, and be able to get you through 4 or 5 innings. Berea comes on, shuts the door the rest of the way, and then Estevez comes on and just blows away the Rangers in the 10th. Great performance by him in the 10th inning. And then good job on the Angels just pouncing on the opportunity to win the game, taking it 5-4 in 10. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll see you guys again tomorrow evening, Baltimore and Atlanta, 6:45. We'll see you guys then. Have a great evening.